and it's like Yui and Shu.
Oh, God.
Stop.
Yeah,
Jonathan, tell me about gulags, for fuck's sake.
Go back to the nasty.
Wow. Oh shit, where's my phone?
Now, where's your phone? It's share time. Time for us all to share.
They got the wrong share.
That's what we'll do. We'll just sing share songs. I didn't know that her and Celine Dion weren't two different people until I was much older.
now that what he just sang was the Muse.
Oh. Here he goes again. Oceans apart, day after day. I'd smash your face in if I was there.
Yeah, but you're not, are you?
No, should we not talk about that right now?
Essex County Council sucks!
Massively. Yeah, we are officially, by the way, tier 2. But we can save that for show if you like.
We are live, but we are waiting for our dear Mikey to focus in.
The music's almost done.
The music's almost done.
Ooh. What up, Internet? It's Thursday, which means it's time for you to get your daily dose of the Bin Podcast. I am Mikey Pham, and I am joined by Shartan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bin Podcast. I'm glad to be back with you. I was off last week, couldn't attend. I'm very sorry, and I missed you all. So, everybody out there on the internet, I'm back.
He's
Yeah.
bitches.
And we're fucking grateful for it.
So we're gonna mix the intros with what are you drinking? What you sipping on? I see you got Corona and wine. 'Cause
I
you're
got
a savage.
a very good Amarone from Italy. It's down south from me.
Everything is down south from you.
True.
Yeah.
You're on like the
Well-
second parallel. Like
Yeah, like Midgard.
It was Asgard 2 minutes ago. Fucking make up your mind.
Never?
Oh, from south from you. Midgard is south from you, for fuck's sake. Jesus, I'm working with these Philistines here. I've had enough.
Hey Susan, how are you? And underneath me, the man,
As
the
always.
myth, the legend. Some say he only has one earlobe, but around here we call him Wayne Lynch.
All the stink.
That's what I'm gonna do your intros from now on. I'm gonna do it Jeremy Clarkson style.
Yeah, you have to do a
Some
really
say-
bad Jeremy Clarkson.
Some say.
Yeah. Some say he only has one testicle.
And he
Why
cut it
was
off
that
with
the only thing
speed.
that I thought of all the times when he said that? I was like, why doesn't he say the one? Some say he only has 2 testicles. Fuck me.
He cut one off for weight reduction on his Honda Civic Type R.
Wow. I wonder who you're talking about.
No, not a Honda Del Sol.
Oh,
Civic Type R.
yeah. I thought he's got a Honda go-kart anyway.
I'm about to get. Oh, I'm gonna save that for after the introductions. But I have car news for you, young sir. What you drinking on there,
Okay.
Wayne?
This is Kerry's gin glass, which I've conveniently filled up with Merlot.
Merlot.
Merlot. I think, hang on, let me have a look. I think you'll find it's called I Heart Merlot.
I heart Merlot.
Yeah. Proper classy geezer, right here.
And we have a very special guest. He hung out with me on Voice from the Underground, the podcast. Tim Bristol. What's up, Tim?
Not much. Thanks for having me on the show.
No problem. What you sipping any
Jazz
Vivation?
No, I
Any
got
vivations?
so this is called Mac and Apple. It's a hard cider. It's a
Oh,
apple and a little bit of
Right,
maple.
right. What is a hard cider? Sorry, let me do it properly.
percentage.
Uh,
What is an hard cider?
Odd side.
So it's like an Irish cider, but it's American,
Punch
I
you in the
guess. It's from Vermont.
Headbutt you.
face.
It's only got like 7% alcohol by volume, so
Oh,
it's not like
that's not bad.
So you
Yeah.
got your Vermont cider that's against the millionaires and the billionaires.
The Sanders cider. Yo, they should make Sanders cider.
They
Oh,
should.
that'd be awesome.
I'd buy it.
Well, like, how long has he been in the what's it called in the
Oh,
Senate?
forever.
Oh,
Forever.
yeah. I
Like,
think he came
well,
with
30
it, didn't he?
30 years. Cool.
He's
30
been in
proof.
politics forever.
If it's 30 years, it's 30 proof. On the next year, we make it 31 proof. The next year is 32 proof. This Sanders cider is about to get lit, son. About to get you fucked up.
Oh, they
Jim,
do donate a percentage of their proceeds to climate change, to fight climate change. So there you go.
Well, good for them.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
Which is
Cardinals.
a little bit hypocritical from Tim, as he has all of the lights right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got a lot of
that's-
lights. So a bit of an explanation about where I am. The podcast that I do is called the Writer's Basement Podcast, and it's literally done in my basement. So
Good
That's
shoe
where I
ruining
am.
the plug. Well done.
yeah, that's where my
move.
setup is. So that's where I am. Yeah, right.
Pro move.
Yeah. You've done this before, haven't you, son?
A few times. A few times.
Drink it.
Yeah.
Speaking of car news, I'm having rum and Pepsi as per
No
usual.
one cares. No one cares.
Thanks for asking, guys. I am buying a Mini Cooper.
What?
Ooh.
On purpose?
Yeah, I want a car that I can work on that isn't terribly expensive. I found one from a friend. For
You got friends?
hate you. For like less than $1,500. And it's in relatively great shape. It's an 07, so it's a bit older, but it doesn't have a terrible amount of miles. And I'm like,
All right, rewind,
perfect
rewind.
for a project car.
It's in relatively great shape.
yeah. For it to be an 07 and have no rust and everything still work on it is great. It hasn't been smashed to pieces and then put back together with
Oh,
staples.
you're buying one of the Beamer ones. You're not buying the proper one. You're buying one of the Beamer ones.
Yeah, it's one of the Beamer ones.
Right,
I
hang on
can't
a minute.
afford. Where am I going to
How-
find a 1979 fucking Mini Cooper?
They bought.
How many-
They fucking built them until.
Jonathan, let's back up a bit. He's boasting that it's got no rust on it. How many panels on that car are actually metal?
You'd be surprised what can rust in Illinois, where we actually have weather. You get just
You're
sopping
talking
wet
to
all
a
day.
British man.
You only
You
have
just said
water.
that to the guy sitting in fucking Essex that you have weather. He's got bad food, worse weather, and Mary Poppins. That's all he's got over there.
Wow.
Mary Poppins
That's
wasn't all that bad.
That's a deep cut, Jonathan.
Oh, Killer Cam, what up, boy? But
Oh,
it's
blimey.
it's an
I think
07.
You can't touch me. You left the EU. Brexit.
But it should be a fun little project car, and I might start another channel of me just like doing some car stuff, because I'm not terribly automotively minded, but I'm very interested in learning how to do a lot of it.
I
So-
can't wait for the first episode. Mikey, 27 minutes trying to find where the key goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be waiting for the blooper reel.
Well, if you want the blooper reel, you're gonna have to go to patreon.com/thebinpodcast, and then that way you can see me cursing and throwing wrenches everywhere.
Also, if you want to see any of Mikey's earlier projects, you can
Nope,
go to the
nope.
Yeah.
I'll tell
done
you later,
fucked up
Tim.
with letting that one out.
I'll tell you later, Tim. But don't you pay them
All right.
no
No,
mind. Don't you pay them no mind.
Now,
I
Nope.
want to know now.
before people actually go and look at the webpage, dude. You have to explain it now.
All right, fine. I'll make this short and sweet, like Wayne.
That's what they all say. Oh.
I knew you were gonna strike first. That's why I countered you preemptively. Preemptive
Look at
strike
you,
on
you
Wayne.
little lightsaber.
The Deviants is like been my band name, like my streaming, my original podcast idea. Like the Deviants has been my thing forever, like since sophomore year of high school.
Tim,
So-
Google that and put .com
No,
at the end.
don't do that. Don't do that, Tim. Wait till I
Do
finish
it,
it.
Tim. Do it, Tim.
Wait till I finish the story before you do it, Tim. Trust me.
Yeah, trust me.
So I eventually, when I had an album ready or an EP ready to sell, so I got a website, set up the little online store. It went okay. I only sold like under 20 copies, so I was like, oh, this is a waste. The site was sitting there for like 2-3 years. I was like, there's no real need for me to keep doing that. I'll just shut it down. Like they're like, do you want to renew? And I was like, pass. So then I gave up the domain name. Randolph Richardson, who is president of the Canadian Atheist Committee, or I forget what the acronym is. Sorry, Randolph, I forgot. He goes, hey, I want to put you on our directory. Do you have a website? And I was like, I have this one. I don't know if it's still active, but it might still be up there. He very politely hit me up on Twitter the next day. He's like, I don't know that the content on your website is suitable for what we're going on. You might want to look into it. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, it is the raunchiest gay black porn ever. And I was like, oh God, what happened? I stopped paying for the hosting and they're like, we'll show you.
And if you can't find Mikey on there, you have to go to Mikey Bukaki.
And unfortunately, I told these Muppets about it, and then they have not given me a break since. So I don't own the Deviants.com anymore. Someone else owns it, and they are doing whatever the fuck they want.
Why would you expect us not to highlight your complete faux pas?
It's not my faux pas. Someone else, like, it's fine that people want that website. It's just not attached to me. I mean, if it is, then I'm gonna need to check. Like, if that's attached to my name, someone cut me some residuals out here.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah.
That's why I got all this Mini Cooper money.
Have a Patreon.
Claiming plausible deniability over on the top left corner.
How do you think how do you think I can afford this Mini Cooper? Huh? In 2 weeks
4 years of gay black porn.
2 weeks of hits after we mentioned it on the show, and I'm just rolling in cash. I'm just buying project
I like
cars.
it that you said that after a couple of hits. Yeah, dude, you took a couple of hits in the video.
That is quite true. We did mention it on the show a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden, Mikey's buying a new car.
I just bought a new TV too. I just bought a new TV. Wow. If you guys missed Prime Day, you're a sucker because I got a fucking good ass deal on a big TV. But that was Christmas.
You bought a medium-sized one. Come on.
Well,
the one in my bedroom is bigger than the one in your living room. We already talked about this.
So me and him were talking yesterday. This motherfucker upgraded his living room TV, put the living room TV in his bedroom with a subwoofer and fucking surround system.
In the bedroom.
Yeah. Might be a bit of overkill.
There's nothing else going on in there, is there?
That's
nothing else.
Only way the room's shaking, huh? I'm telling you, I was like, so why'd you put it in there? I was like, so when I go to sleep watching Jurassic Park, I really want to feel like the monsters are about to eat me. Like, I want to feel the footsteps of the T-Rex as I casually drift off to sleep.
Yeah, no.
When that velociraptor comes at me, I want to come.
No, or he's probably watching chicken porn with fucking 55 inches of HD, Ultra HD, and a subwoofer. You freak!
Prehistoric chickens.
Yo,
I just realized there's a reason why animal control comes by my house and looking for chickens all the time.
Just a wellness check. Just a wellness check. Just ring the door, saying hello to everybody. See how you doing.
So feathers hanging out of his mouth.
Again.
So let's get into some topics, shall we? We bantered enough.
All right. Where should we start? Should we should address the fact that we got some MIAs.
Oh yeah. Brenna doesn't like Brenna's got some stuff going on, so she won't be here. and Cortez is taking care of sick babies. The babies is sick, so you gotta take care of the babies. The babies.
Yes. So you'll just have to stick with us. But because of the consummate fucking professional that Brenna is, she actually sent us something to talk about.
She did. For her
She
fine
did.
self.
All right. You want me to do this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
I do.
So let's share screen. Right. So election 2020 unofficial ballot boxes are illegal, state tells GOP. California officials issue a cease and desist order Monday to the California Republican Party after GOP official acknowledged setting up unofficial ballot drop boxes that state election authorities said were illegal. Blah 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 blah. The state GOP spokesman acknowledged that the party owned some of the boxes. He declined to comment, and he said that only seem to object to ballot harvesting when somebody else does it. What happened is, I'll close this. What happened is that the GOP in California, you have drop off your ballot places, official, where you can drop off your ballot if you're not able to be there on voting day.
John, sorry, can I just jump in there? For those that are uninitiated, the GOP stands for Grand Old Party, which is the Republican Party in America. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. And what happened is that you have official drop-off sites where you can drop off your ballot, your vote, guys, and who you're voting for. The GOP set up unofficial ballot boxes where anybody could drop off, and this is illegal for obvious reasons. One of the first and foremost is that you don't have any control of who delivers these ballots to the actual voting place, and there is no way to secure that the votes in that ballot is actually the ones that they cast. So yeah, it's problematic in a lot of different ways.
So why are you and the rest of the Democrats trying to steal this election, Jartan? They're just trying to open up more places for people to vote, and you leftists are just trying to shut down the silent majority who just
for me, Mikey, like consistency is pretty important.
Mikey, this is the thing, man. Like, appreciate kayfabe, right? We know Jartan is an actor. He's living in Bel Air right now. He's on this snide accent. There's a green screen behind him. Them guitars ain't real. We know that. Stop fucking shit up, all right?
I'd rather fucking be in Bel Air than you. You're in fucking Bel End.
No, you are a Bel End.
He's from Bag End. He lives next to Frodo.
All right, so what we've all heard Donald Trump and a lot of the Republicans saying that the Democrats are trying to steal, they're trying to do this. So I don't get how you can be this stupid, because don't you think that people would react if all of a sudden California turned blue?
California is blue.
It is
California
blue.
Red.
Sorry, red. You got your colors mixed up.
No, you did.
Yeah, we did. My bad.
How the fuck can you call the Democratic the blue party and the fucking Republicans the red party? Like that doesn't make
just
any
the colors
sense.
that they wanted. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's they got bad creative. I don't know.
No, but because it used to be the Republicans who was actually the most socialist party up until the 1970s. So it's kind of stuck with everything. Right, I messed it up. So what would have happened if California all of a sudden turned red in the 2020 elections? That would have been, and then you find out that it would have been unofficial ballot boxes. Like, how fucking stupid are you? Like, do this, at least if you're going to cheat. Like, do it in a swing state that you're not sure that you're going to win. Don't do it in a sure fucking
You already
Uh,
lost
well,
this one.
They're doing the same.
Hold on,
Oh,
wait.
I
Fuck
was
off.
I was going to say they're doing the same thing in Texas, but the reverse, where the ballot boxes are limited to one ballot box per county, and the counties in Texas are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one ballot box for 3.4 million people at
Yeah.
one place.
Yeah, one of the
What?
counties. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
It's,
a
yeah,
big
yeah.
box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
I
what
think
she said.
it was one of the cities. It was either Houston County or like Austin County,
Yeah, give
and
me a second. All right, so give me a second. I'll just make sure.
No.
Fucking hell, I got there. All right, yeah, here you go. Sorry, by now we are jumping between things.
Just leave it up on
But
screen. Just
it is-
scroll
it
down.
is-
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So, a late night ruling Monday upheld Texas Governor Greg Abbott's directive limiting only but one ballot drop box per county in the state.
Hold on. Susan just put in. Thank you, Susan. And there's 254 of them. So many counties. Harris County, where Houston is. So the
yeah,
Houston area.
Yeah.
That one. They wanted
Yes.
one fucking ballot drop up. Oh my god! How much Lysol do you need for that fucking one box? And fucking possibly 1 million people are gonna be touching all over it.
and there's so many complaints about the ballot boxes. It doesn't matter where you're from. Here in Connecticut, we have complaints about ballot boxes being locked or being placed inside town halls where they're only open a certain time during the day.
Right.
So the parties are playing games with the ballot boxes all over, but the California and Texas examples are the most egregious.
Yeah, and just the fact that you put up because according to this article, it did say official ballot drop box
And that's
on it.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. Like
Surely that's illegal. Surely that's some sort of fraud.
So officials began investigating after a photo was posted on social media showing a regional field director for the California Republican Party in Orange County supporting the congressional campaign of Michelle Steele alongside a box labeled official ballot drop-off box.
what are you saying, Ted?
Sorry.
it is illegal, and the Republican California Party is going to face some sort of penalty for that because the California Attorney General already said that what they're doing is illegal. They sent a cease and desist, and the California Republican Party is ignoring it. So they're going to face some sort of penalty for it. But by the time that happens, it's going to be too late.
And that's the problem with the litigious nation that you are in, because all of the gears of law take so long for anything to actually happen. The election is going to be gone.
Yeah.
So how do you rectify the situation when you're just kicking the can down the road every single time?
I mean, the justice system is too political. It's just too political. Like the attorney generals, all in every state, they're all they're all politically elected, and if you're a political appointee, you're going to do what the constituents want. So it's a problem with the justice system that we have a lot of elected judges, and we have attorneys general that are elected, and then at the federal level, the Justice Department is political appointee on the other side, where the president appoints a attorney general for the whole country, and then he also can put in prosecutors in the state. So it's a difficult system that it's so political.
See, last episode I brought up the fact that Iowa, the Republicans had got rid of what's the word I'm looking for? They got rid of ballot boxes in Iowa, and the Republicans actually started to sort of do legal voter suppression. And I was poo-pooed by Mikey. So what happens if that litigious process carries on past the election day? Like what happens? Do those votes get counted? Do they not?
The votes. See, that's the problem. Is it depends. Which side does the court side on? Does it side on the side of the party, or does it side on the voters? It really depends. Like there's been a lot of voter ID laws that have suppressed vote that have been overturned, but overturned after certain elections. So it's
Yeah, but
really
the thing is, in the
But
Constitution, is that
wait a
the
second. So, but we've forgotten one very, very important thing here. How do you know this, Tim? Like, do you have any sort
oh,
of education within
I,
the
I
field?
I do. I have a bachelor's degree in political science.
Woo! Let him
oh,
know.
well, fuck off with these experts.
I'm bringing
Um,
the heat, baby.
and I'm currently taking classes for my master's degree in political science.
Don't worry,
He's an
Wayne.
amateur.
We'll have more musicians on, and I can tell you that Muse is shit. So it'll be fine. We'll have more
Oh,
experts
you
on.
know what? We never asked Scott about Muse. I think that would have been hilarious.
No, we really shouldn't. We really shouldn't ask Scott about Muse. That'd
Yeah,
be
that
a
would have
very
been
bad.
fucking. I can't wait till Scott comes back on.
What
Scott
is he more
LaRock.
into vocal harmony groups?
No, I'll tell you, Scott legit says Matt Bellamy, you know, the multi-millionaire, multi-selling.
Oh,
he
look
says
at
he
him.
can't. He says he can't sing. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Well,
You auto-tune wanker.
Scott, I love you, man. Fucking hell yeah, Scott. Bring that fucking smoke. Fuck Muse. Yeah, talk your
Alright.
shit. He's a fucking singer. Of course he's gonna say every other fucking singer is garbage. I'm with
Like,
Scott.
how many candies have you had today, dude?
None yet.
All right, okay. But let's get back on topic. So, in these, what are you giving me the figure?
That's for Mikey.
All right.
You see, he didn't even have to acknowledge that. I was just doing that to Mikey subtly.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I know.
So in the case of ballot boxes and ballots not being counted because maybe the ballot boxes weren't legal ballots or there's some sort of voter suppression effort going on, it's really a unique case because it hasn't really been tried before. So it would absolutely happen after the election, and there's probably not enough votes to overturn whatever's going to happen. I mean, I'm not predicting that anything's going to happen one way or the other, but there are votes that aren't counted for other reasons. Like there are states where you have to sign the ballot, and if your signature doesn't match a previous signature, then your ballot's thrown out. So there are going to be votes that aren't counted.
But constitutionally, if the deadline for the votes being counted goes past and someone is called as the president, and all of these things that have been kicked down the road in the litigious way that we're talking about, is there any constitutional way that the ballot can be classed as null and void?
So the answer to that is both yes and no. If there are enough ballots that it would affect the election, then it would probably go to the Supreme Court and they would decide.
Can't you? But if me and Wayne are running against each other for president, and it's super fucking close, like down to like 20,000 votes. If Wayne's winning, I can ask for a recount, right? Because that's in that margin of error. Like, how about we double check?
It depends on what the margin of error is.
Yeah. So then if there's all these reports of like these fucking bullshit boxes sitting all over the place, if I lose, I'm definitely asking for a recount, especially in California, especially in Texas. I need you to. So, do you think that there's a way that we can implement it? Like, if we feel like we have an election and we feel like it went wrong, like it got fucked, like something got fucked up, like a large number of people. Can we have another one? Is there anything in the Constitution that allows us to do it again?
So I have a very specific example for you. A candidate in Connecticut, who I'm working for currently, 2 years ago, he ran for a state legislature position, and the election came down to 17 votes. He won by 17 votes.
Wow.
But the problem is that one of the polling locations gave some voters the wrong ballot. About 65 people got the wrong ballot. So his opponent sued, and it came down to a vote in the legislature. Now, at this point, The election was already over. It was like 4 or 5 months into him being in office again,
Hmm.
and the Democrats were the controlling party. He was a Democrat, and the Democrats said, "Well, we'll give you either two options. One, we can do a recount, and it's not going to go your way, or two, we can run a special election in that polling place just for that district,
Hmm.
but it's still not going to go your way." Like, and eventually the lawsuit got dropped because by the time they litigated it, it was already a year into his term.
And he's only got what, a year left, or is it a 4
Yeah,
year?
and he's already no, it's only 2. So in the case of a presidential election, you can look back to the 2000 election when it was Bush v. Gore,
That was the
and
case I was gonna cite.
the Florida ballots that were they didn't know what they were or whatever, so I accidentally voted for Pat Buchanan. But the issue there was they kept calling for recounts because every time they counted, it was different.
Didn't they have 3
And
recounts?
yeah, they did 3,
Yeah.
and they were about to do a 4th when the Supreme Court said stop. And that's what'll happen is they'll continually be recounts until the Supreme Court comes in and says, "Listen, we're deciding this now." So that's what ultimately will happen.
But here's the question: like, why are you the only Western civilized country that are having
Here we
trouble?
go. Here we go.
Because we're fucking crazy.
Word.
That's why.
No, but I'm not equating it to like Wayne is thinking I'm being a bitch and saying that like we're
No.
Sweden and Norway and Scandinavia. Got like, but it's not only that. It's like fucking Albania's got this shit figured out.
It's-
Fucking
so-
Spain, France,
It's
Italy.
because we do not elect the president by popular vote. We elect the president through a system called the Electoral College, and that is what is fucked up. If we elected the president by popular vote, none of this would be an issue at all.
Yeah, but we too have a first past the post system over here, which is similar to the Electoral College.
Yeah, but you guys have more than 2 parties.
Yeah, that's true.
We have a multi-party system. So,
Yeah. And a multi-party system would benefit the United States because there's a lot of people in the Democrat and Republican parties who don't feel like they belong in those parties, but they have no choice.
Look, we just
Yang,
invented
Bernie Sanders, all of them.
We just invented you. You fucked it up. All right, that's it.
There he goes with the I invented you.
And we stole your system, and then we fucked that up.
Exactly. see, Mikey, Tim knows what I'm talking about.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of the.
Yeah,
but if we had more than 2 parties, if our system didn't discourage a 3rd party or even a 4th party, then we would be in a better place.
I think if you had a more viable system with regards, because obviously you've got the Green Party and you've got write-ins, you've got independents, but if you actually had like an open house where third parties could actually come in, because let's face it, if Bernie Sanders was part of another party, he would be not be an independent. He'd probably be part of like the Green Party.
He'd be something akin to the Green Party.
Yeah.
But
he'd probably form his own party, to be honest.
But just so we know that in Wayne's weird country, they have an over and under house. They have still got nobility. You have to have a certain pedigree, a certain heritage to be able to be in the overhouse. So just by that definition, like Wayne, like your democracy isn't working very well as either. And
I totally agree with you.
No, but just give me a second. And the same with our multi-party system where we have blocks and alliances figuring out and trying to get this. It turns into a shit show every now and then. So no political system is perfect. I just think that there are less problematic ways of doing it, and you found the most problematic way to constitute a democracy in your country.
And here's what the Electoral College does to the vote in this country. It gives certain voters more power than other voters. People who live in population light states, like say, I don't know, North Dakota, where they have a population of less than 1 million people, their votes mean more than people who live in Texas, who has a large voting population, but some of the state's votes in the Electoral College are taken away from them and given to other states because they don't do it specifically by population. They do it, every state gets a certain number of votes as a baseline. They get 3 votes as a baseline, and then all the other votes are distributed by population.
Yeah, I saw
So,
one what's it called, like graph where if you live in California, you're or in and I think it was like Idaho or something, your vote in that less populated state is 3.4 times more
Yep.
valuable than the vote in California, which is your highly
Yep.
most populated state, right?
yep, and it gives power. It's supposed to give power to the states with smaller populations, but what it does is it distorts the actual votes of the people voting, and it creates a sort of system where the votes aren't equal, so people don't have equality in that way. And if we just did a population, if we just elected the president by popular vote, that would all disappear. Everyone would have 1 vote and would equal 1 vote.
And only one Republican president over the last 3 Republicans president actually won the popular vote, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, Bush the first won the popular vote in '88, and then Bush Jr. won the popular vote in 2008, or was it 2004?
Yeah. So, but can one make the argument that back in when your country was founded, there was a reason for this, but because things have changed, the way we move about and the way that we are able
we
to
have
do
the
things
fucking
have
internet
changed.
now.
It doesn't really make sense to have that same 250-year-old system anymore.
Yeah, and the reason that the system was put into place is that the South was afraid of, because the South had a very light population at the time. The South was afraid of states like New York and larger population states having control over everything. And so they came to this compromise where they would put in the Electoral College and everyone would have kind of equal say, and the South would have a little bit more power because in the original formation of the country, when it was the Articles of Confederation instead of the Constitution, everyone had 1 vote. Every state had 1 vote, and they would have to have a majority, and they could never get that. So they came up with this constitutional sort of agreement where they would just divvy up power differently, and it worked back then.
Yeah,
But then,
what was that based on?
No, but you vote on a Tuesday because
there's no reason. There's no reason to vote on a Tuesday.
no, not anymore. But the reason used to be that people went to church on Sundays and then they could take Monday off to get to the ballot box and then drop off their vote on Tuesday. Like that was the reasoning behind having it on a Tuesday. But that was when you had to ride your whole horse for fucking 48 hours to get to a ballot box, right?
Well, some of you north of the wall, I understand you had oxen, maybe not horses.
Yeah, you see, all our elections are cast on a Thursday because everyone used to get paid on a Friday and get pissed, and so they couldn't.
It's because of Monday Night Football, okay? That's why it's on Tuesday.
Why are
Josh
you from Boys from the Podcast?
The founding
No.
Listen, the framers of the Constitution knew that there was going to be Monday Night Football. All right, they had the insight to know this. Everyone with a brain knows that they knew that they could predict the internet. They predicted AK-47s. They predicted everything. Okay, they knew exactly what they were doing back in 1782.
They predicted Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about sport ball, but we have a new fucking face in the room. So introduce yourself, please, good sir.
Hey, it's Jason. How we doing? What's up? There's my guy Tim Bristol right there.
Hi, Jason.
Guy that I found, by the way. I found him, by the way. This is Jason. For those who don't know me, I'm Jason Dutch, with Voice from the Underground, which is this clown's other show. We recruited him recently because we lost someone way better, and we needed to replace him, and he's the best we could find. So,
Other show.
Yeah.
Wayne's just finding out about this because he doesn't go on Twitter, or Facebook, or anything unless his name is mentioned.
Job is still on ZipRecruiter. I mean, if we find a better candidate,
we invented Mikey Fleming.
Yeah. we call him Michelangelo Feminine, or Mickey Antifa. So it's
we call him the Deviants based on his other website.
Shut up.
Mikey Bukaki.
Shut your mouth.
We call him the FNG.
All right. Let's jump ahead to
wait, there's a question.
American-based topics. Then we have.
Wait. There's one question from the chat. Tons of Mice. Hi, Tons of Mice. Asks, do electors have to vote with the for the candidate who wins the vote in their state?
Now Tim. They do.
The answer is previously it was no.
Right.
Some states have passed laws saying that whoever gets the popular vote in their state, the electors have to. Some states are leaving that alone. But yes, the answer is yes. They're called faithless electors, and that has happened.
That's crazy.
Wow.
In fact, interesting to note here that after the 2016 election, there was a lot of people who were keeping their fingers crossed that the electors might not vote for Trump because they had a conscience and actually instead vote for Hillary. Oddly, every elector who was, and Tim might correct me if I'm slightly wrong here, but I know I'm like 98% right. Every elector who was supposed to vote for Trump did so, and I believe there were 3 that were supposed to vote for Hillary who voted for other candidates. One I think was Bernie, one was Gary Johnson, and one I think was Mickey Mouse. So
there is actually a coalition of states that are trying to pledge their electors to whichever candidate wins the national popular vote. Connecticut's one of those states.
Really?
Yeah. Once they get 26 states on board, they can make it a law because then a majority of states will be on board. But until then, it's sort of just a pipe dream. But it is a movement. I think they have like 13 or 15 states signed up already. So they're trying to basically forego the Electoral College and just give the winner of the national popular vote the election.
What you mean, like
Wouldn't that make sense?
Going into the real world as we are now? The most people that got the most votes win.
Yeah, because the Electoral College is such an imperfect system where you can win the electoral vote without winning the popular vote. It was in such a stark contrast in 2016 when Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 4 million votes, but then lost the election. Like it upset a lot of people.
Tim, for our viewers that are not in the states that are in, can you explain the Electoral College system? Because it kind of contradicts the first past the post system that you have in most states, because it kind of does something totally different. So could you explain that?
Yeah. So in America, we don't elect the president by popular vote. We elect the president by something called the Electoral College. Basically what happens is every state gets a number of electoral votes based on their population, kind of. And that number...
What was that based on?
It's based on the number of representatives you have plus the number of senators. And then it's sort of distributed by population a little bit. And the total number of electoral votes, I believe, is 583. And the number you need to win is 271. So the strategy is to go after the states who have the highest, vote totals, obviously. And the way that you get those states' votes is you get a majority, 50% plus one of the votes in that state. and then you will get their electoral votes. There are two states. Oh,
so
sorry.
Which are the big states that people go for?
The 5 biggest states are California, which has 55 electoral votes, Texas, which I believe has 35, Florida has 29, New York has 22 or 25, I don't remember, and I think Ohio is the next. Oh, it's higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the biggest.
You're close.
Yeah. And so you have to get enough states to get past 271 votes. Then you become president. It doesn't matter if you win the popular vote. That's just sort of an aside. There's a theory out there. There is a theory out there that you could win the Electoral College with 21% of the popular vote. If you got all the smallest states, you could win with 21% of the popular vote.
Funny fun fact also is that Montana, I believe it is, has more senators than they do Congress people.
Yeah, there's a few states that only have one member of the House of Representatives.
Idaho and Montana, or it might be one of the Dakotas. But yeah.
Yeah.
And could you elaborate on the difference between senators and Congress people?
Okay, so the Senate is like Britain's House of Lords. They're supposed to be the higher. Yeah, they're supposed to be the higher branch. They're supposed to be.
Let me make it easy for you. The Senate is the Justice League.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Congress is the Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Does that make it any easier?
Let me tell you.
White House the fucking Avengers then?
Well, that would be
the Supreme Court is the Avengers.
It would be the Avengers, right? Okay, so the Avengers are the Senate, and the X-Men are the Congress, because there's so many of them.
Yeah,
and
thanks a lot, Sony.
Yeah. See, explain it so people can understand.
Okay.
All right, Tim,
Okay.
Jesus.
All right.
Yeah.
And the White House, the boys. The White House is the boys. Yeah,
Right.
all right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, our House of Lords basically sleep for. They turn up, they get 300 quid, and have a kip. Right? They literally turn in and it's like a should have a chair.
So the difference between them really is that senators serve 6-year terms, and the House of Representatives they only serve 2-year terms.
Oh, okay. Whereas the House of Lords over here is a lifelong peerage.
What?
Oh. Yep. Well, I mean, some would say the Senate they have 30-year careers in the Senate, so it's basically a lifetime appointment once you get in.
After they win 3 or 4 times, they're usually not coming out without some upset in the polls.
But no,
had hereditary peerages. So if your boy wanted to go in the House of Lords and you're like, do you know what? Yeah, you can go in there, boy. And he would just take it over. He could be 3 years old. It don't matter. It's fine.
like most of the Muse fans. But talking about lifetime appointments, we need to talk about Amy Coney Barrett. I just did a thing. It's called a segue, I think.
Do we have to?
Sweet swash swoosh, and let's go
Swash.
next.
It's more of a cross-arm breaker segue.
Amy Coney Barrett nomination to the U.S. Supreme Court comes as a long-term academic, appeal court judge, and mother of 7, was the hot favorite for the Supreme Court seat. Donald Trump, who as sitting president gets to select nominees, reportedly once said he was saving her for this moment when elderly Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg died and the vacancy on the 9-member court arose. So, who is Amy Coney Barrett?
Yes.
I know. So she's a very conservative Supreme Court justice nominee. She calls herself an originalist, which means the way she interprets the law and the Constitution is that she interprets it the way it was written, in the time it was written, and no other sort of interpretation is valid. So she interprets the Constitution as it was written in 1781,
and
that's it.
Kind of connotations to that.
Does that remind you of anything?
Amendment? Yeah, we don't need that.
Does that remind you of anything?
A few things.
Specifically something else that I'm sure, and I'm not disparaging this, but
Go ahead,
something else she would also interpret as written, I don't know, 2,800 years ago, that is still interpreted the exact same today.
Oh, you mean the Bible?
Exactly. So it's that sort of a reading of the Constitution. So
yeah, and she is
dash the babies against the rocks.
Right.
Yeah, she is very, very socially conservative, and she, the big sticking points for her nomination in her hearings was healthcare and abortion rights. Those are the two big sticking points with senators on both sides, really. The conservative senators really like that she's pro-life, which is American for pro-abortion or anti-abortion.
Yeah.
And the Democratic senators, would really like her to not take away the healthcare system that we currently have.
Real quick, Tim. Real quick, Tim. Another good question from the chat. How would the Republicans most likely have reacted if Hillary Clinton had won the Electoral College with 21% of the popular vote?
Well, since they're all fucking snowflakes,
wow,
they would have lost their minds. They would have absolutely lost their minds. They would have challenged it in court.
Yep.
Well, you've just stepped on something here, I think, that is important. Sorry to keep interrupting you, Tim, but you make such good points that I have to step on these points. The thing with Trump, with the exception of Gorsh was probably not someone in this conversation, but definitely with Kavanaugh and with Coney Barrett, they both have a specific reason why they specifically were selected at the specific time that they were selected. Kavanaugh was selected because of really one stance, and that is that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted.
Yep.
Okay. Coney Barrett is being selected specifically, well, because the right loved her. They wanted her last time because honestly, she's way further right than Kavanaugh is. Kavanaugh, interestingly, is somewhat moderate. If it weren't for the sex allegation, I probably would have said fine pick. Because he's already had the opportunity to vote against abortion twice, and both times has not done so. But with Coney Barrett, her specific agenda for Trump is that he is going to contest the election should he lose, and she has already set precedent in the past that shows that she would favor with helping him to change the results of a loss, especially if that loss ends up being somewhat narrow.
I would add to that. He's trying to double down on his evangelical base.
In addition, but that's
the problem with that
there's
is
other people
he's already got them.
There's other people he could have picked that would have shared that view.
Yeah.
She had this
No,
singular.
What I'm saying is, she's a double barrel.
Yeah.
She hits both measures on that.
Yeah. Right. It was the perfect pick for him. I mean, there really wasn't any question, like all this ruse that he was going to pick Ted Cruz, or something, or this girl from this Latina from Florida who is also quite conservative. I mean, this goes to show how stupid Donald Trump is. And for the record, I have to add Joe Biden to this too. Who's not so bright, because Trump could have picked this, and I forget her name, this justice from Florida. Alyssa Milano, right? Who could have helped him in the election in Florida. Now, the reason why I brought Biden up for that was because I thought Biden picking Kamala Harris was absurdly dumb when he could have picked Val Deming, my opinion, who is a congressperson from Florida who could help win that swing state. So both of them passed on that for ideologues, more or less. And in this particular case, Coney Barrett was just so much of what Wayne said, a double barrel of what he wanted to accomplish. Not only make the evangelical base happy, but also Because let's face it, they want to live in a theocracy. They want the Christian version of Shia
the
law.
Kingdom of God.
Yeah, Shia law.
They want the kingdom of God.
They're terrified
Back in America.
by Islamic law, but they want their own, of countries that have Shia law, but they want their own version of that. Literally, not just, they won't, and oftentimes you can get them to admit to it.
Yeah.
And they've actually passed those laws in, I think, Alabama. They passed a religious freedom law or something like that, where they can't be persecuted for their Christianity. But I mean, those laws are kind of ridiculous. But Amy Coney Barrett, so I heard one of the senators, I forget which one, talk about the amount of money that is behind her nomination to the Supreme Court by groups who want to see her in, and there's a lot more politics and there's a lot more money behind Supreme Court nominations than there used to be because of the lifetime appointment feature of being on the Supreme Court. And they're picking younger and younger justices who are going to be on the court for a greater amount of time.
That's a fair point you make.
Which
And
is why
there's
we
a lot
shouldn't have lifetime appointments.
Yeah, exactly. They should not have lifetime appointments, but there is a lot of dark money. There's a lot of dark money behind it, and the conservative movement has a political apparatus set up just to nominate Supreme Court justices. They have I forget what it is, the Federalist Foundation or something like that, where they literally, that's all they do is put judges up for higher court appointments, and the Senate has been pushing through these judges into the lower appellate courts and filling all these seats that they purposely left open during Obama's administration so that they could fill them all now, and they're doing the same thing with the Supreme Court.
Oh, I'm going to say, Zartan, I don't know if you can speak to this too, please. As someone who lives outside of the United States, I feel that this particular election is the most important election in my lifetime, in the sense of we've got Trump in place now, and if America pick Trump again, for me it shows that America don't give a fuck about the rest of the world. They're isolationist. They all want to be about themselves, and it's a dangerous precedent to set. And I think it's going to continue this dividing of the world, where we have Brexit, which I fucking can't stand. I just want to be around all my mates and be all my pals, and I can't stand it. And I think if Trump gets in again, it's going to compound that isolationism that is being promoted by the populist narratives of political parties, but very much conservative parties around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, like you already have Brazil and Britain and a number of others who have put in Trump loans.
Yeah. We've got posh Trump. Like, let me tell you, like, Boris Johnson is.
And this is the only time in the history of the world that Boris Johnson has been called posh. Anything.
No, but he's a posh wanker. He's a posh fucking wanker. He's awful. Like, so much so that he purposely ruffles his hair before he has any kind of media appearance to try and look.
No, man, that's bedhead, man. He just wake up looking sexy like that. Don't be hating, Wayne.
He's copying off Bernie.
He just wakes up, do a little tumble, like, what's up? Y'all want to do a press conference? What's up?
He's stealing from the people of Vermont, stealing from Bernie Sanders. It's mine. That hairdo belongs to me. I've had it since Methuselah in 1801. It's mine. Stop stealing it.
It sounds very.
But like the genius of Boris Johnson was described by last week tonight by John Oliver, when he showed how Boris Johnson came out with tea when reporter was standing outside his house to ask him hard questions, and he came out looking like he's just got straight out of bed in his bathrobe, serving the reporters tea, and he disarmed them in the most fantastic way you've ever seen, because it was all like,
all right, lads, would you like some tea?
yeah, all of a sudden he was like just this friendly neighborhood goof that just came out and served reporters tea, and nobody asked him a goddamn question because all they talked about was having tea.
Mm.
And Trump would never do that.
No, but
I'm gonna give him Whoppers and Big
Wendy's
Macs.
pizza.
I have Little Caesars on its way with 500 cheese-only pizzas. I'm not paying extra for toppings.
Yeah. No, but
And,
look what Trump did, because to show how a man of a people he is, he lined up like McDonald's for what was it, like some sport ball team
the
that
college,
came to.
the college football
Oh,
champions.
that was
He gave them a bunch
bad.
of fucking fast food, as if they eat
Yeah.
fucking fast food. They're athletes.
No,
they
but
don't eat
he
that
tried to show
garbage.
what a man of the people he is.
No, but they were mainly black guys, Mikey.
Yeah, so you gotta
remember
have fried
that.
chicken. I
You
mean,
gotta give them some fucking some whey shakes, some
he forgot,
creatine,
but he forgot to.
Yeah.
power bar.
The problem is he went to
Like,
KFC.
if
He was
he
supposed
would
to go to
have filled
churches.
that
He
fucking
should've
table
went
with
Popeyes, that'd be
KFC,
bad.
that would have been porn for me.
For what is it?
If he would have filled that table with KFC, that would have been porn for me. That would have been straight out
It would've been
fucking
like-
porn.
No, it would be like necrophiliatic porn for you
Yeah.
because you like it live and scriggling.
All right, we are going to move on to our next topic of the day.
It's time for the mid-roll.
My ladies and gentlemen, what I want to talk about is that you need to go to patreon.com/thebin podcast to get your pledges in. We are very close to our first tier.
We're only
We're
30
our
bucks
first towards
away.
benefits. So we need you to go in there and get it in. I'm going to read all of our patrons, which is 10 in a number. We got Ryan, we got Ricky, we got Miss Nana, David, Kat, Stuart, Puffalopagus, Austin, Christian, and Richard. But you need to get in there. You need to go in. You need to get your pledges in, because we want to keep on doing this. We will keep on doing this regardless, but we need your money. We need to help
Give me your
you to help
cash.
us. What?
Sorry, 0.
We need your help to get better. We need to upgrade our stuff. We need to do it. And especially like if you work like 80 hours a fucking week, like $1. Just give us $1. But if you work for like, I don't know, like a mining company or big pharma or something, fucking go for the $100 here. Why don't-
Yeah, $100 here. Do that.
Yeah.
If you're one of those dirty bastards who work for one of these dirty companies who just do bad shit all around the world, give us some of that bad money. We don't mind.
We'll take it.
We'll take care of it. We'll do something good with it.
Give it to us.
Yeah, give it to us. Give us that dirty money. So go to patreon.com/thebin podcast. Get your pledges in. We make sure that you get something good for it. And please stay away from the $100 tier. Please, for the sake of all that is holy.
Oh,
Don't do it.
give us your content money.
All right. So before we move on to the next topic, I've got a question for the guy who Cunt.
Wayne, you can't say that.
I didn't.
You can't have that posted.
Didn't
Chartan,
say
put that on a t-shirt, please. I will wear that every day.
Fucking cunt. Hey, by the way, the amount of time that fucking Carl Urban says cunt in The Voice is just that is worth watching.
Yeah, that show is fantastic.
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. So make sure that you go to Amazon Prime and just watch The Voice. But don't give Jeff Bezos any more of your money than you have to.
Tim, is your mic gold?
No, it's silver. It's just the lighting is
I think we have the same mic.
Oh, do you?
We're mic bros.
You're Eskimo bros for the mics. That's a whole nother thing we can talk about.
No, yeah, I think we do have the same mic. Yeah.
For just the price of a cup of coffee. Thank you, Ken. You get it. That's all it is. Just give us 1 cup of coffee a month. That's all we're asking. And if you don't, then we're going to torture Tim. Sorry, Tim, you had to find out this way, but we're on our way to your house right now. That's why Dutch is here to roll with me for backup. And we're gonna torture Tim until you guys help us get to that
Aren't
next
you-
tier.
Aren't
Yes.
you all the way in Illinois? It's going to take you some time. I can get out of here.
You're assuming that this isn't Wi-Fi that I'm casting
Oh,
off
okay.
on my phone.
Did you notice the
Oh,
This
green
is the backseat
behind
of
it?
his
Yeah.
rental car. It's
I'm
a
actually
Sprinter.
I'm actually still in California right now.
Mm.
But this is
So
all
just
an
look for the
optical
house with
illusion.
all the lights
Technology.
in.
Technology is something else.
yeah.
Yeah, Tim, what are you going to
Before
do?
we move on, we have to
I
move
mean,
on.
I got
No,
Boston
we are
friends,
going to
great
move
job,
on.
Touch.
But before we move on, I have just discovered that me and Jason has some similar interests. You got a
Really?
very
Did you get Harley
specific
Davidson
you
by
got
any
a
chance?
very specific shirt on. Yes, you do.
Have you only just got that?
I thought
What
you were going to
you're-
talk about our love of gerbils in the rear or something like that, but I
Whoa,
Richard,
whoa, whoa.
I didn't want to let that out.
No
you
one
know,
down here.
so- but yeah, motorcycles are my thing.
He has
Chicken.
little scooters. He rides a Vespa
what
scooter
you
out
riding?
there in Norway.
Can't hear him. All I hear is you.
What are you riding?
At the moment, nothing, which is a travesty.
too bad.
About a year ago, I had to sell my bike, but I had a Wide Glide at the time. I had a 2011. I bought a 2011 Wide Glide. I owned it until last summer. So I'm currently sans motorcycle at the moment.
That means without for you American users.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so that,
Boston,
but that was a 96 inch, right?
What's that?
That was a 96 cubic inch.
The
twin
96
cam?
cube. Yeah, it was the 96 cube. It was not the. They went to the 101 or whatever it is.
103.
A year-
103
a year or
the
two
year
later.
after.
Everyone else
but yeah.
do some cross stitch or something while we were waiting.
Do you know what I'm currently riding?
I would guess a Road King,
Nope.
a Fat Boy.
Road Glide.
Okay, that's still a dyno, right?
Yeah. No. It's a 2020. It's a new Softail frame.
Oh, okay.
2020.
Softail.
With the 115 cubic inch engine. With a 474 Screaming Eagle cams on it.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's
Wayne, I think they're trying to communicate to us.
it's
Yeah,
really
the-
it's really shit.
I'm a fan
Tim,
personally
Tim,
of
are you a
the
James Bonnet fan or
dyno
not?
frame. I like the ride that it gives you. I'm not opposed to really anything motorcycle. I've had a Kawasaki sport bike in the past. I had a ZX9. I thought about getting a Hayabusa. I love I actually really like
Hayabusa,
the,
yeah or nay?
what's that?
I was just about to ask Hayabusa, yeah or nay, because they're such a controversial bike.
Yeah, well, they have a fan club, you know what I mean, and you either love it or hate it. Same with Kawasaki. I mean, if you if you talk to somebody who has a ZX14 and somebody who has a Hayabusa, that they're both going to tell you that the other one is an idiot. The Kawasaki has slightly more, but I think the Hayabusa is probably faster off the line.
But the Hayabusa is more of a tourer, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
It's a
I would.
sport tour, but like
I
you have to
make that
remember
distinction.
that the Hayabusa was built in the 90s, right? So you
Mm.
now have like the Kawasaki H2s, which has 1,000 cubic inch compressor feeded, 220 horsepower engine. It's built primarily on
I
carbon
just
fiber. It
watched-
doesn't weigh.
I
It
just
weighs-
watched a video last night because I do like car racing videos. This dude raced a Viper in his H2, but it had been bored out in the whole 9 yards. Fucking 340 horsepower on a bike.
So
What
what you
the
do is like
fuck?
you just in the compressor. You know how a compressor works, right? It compresses air and it shoots it into the engine. So what you can do is like you can just you can just change the wheel bearings within the compressor to make it compress more air. So you don't even have to dismount the fucking engine to get that to give you 300 plus horsepower. Like you only have to change the innards of the fucking compressor, which is fucking insane to have something that doesn't even weigh 200 fucking kilograms and put 300 horsepower in it. And I've driven one of these things and it shifts like nothing I've never felt acceleration like this. And if I want to be a tough guy, I would say that I was maybe at 2/3 of full throttle, but that would be a fucking lie. I was not even on 50% before I gave up. Like, I couldn't do it. It's insane. It fucking shifts like nothing I've ever been. The acceleration on that thing is just beyond.
And you don't need a huge engine to get, because all of it comes from the torque, right? So the torque is far more important with acceleration than the horsepower is. And
Absolutely.
in order to get the torque up, you don't need a lot to do that. Horsepower is actually harder to achieve than torque is. I mean, great example of that is if you look at like the Volkswagen diesel engines, right? A Volkswagen diesel engine puts out like 90 horsepower, but 240 foot-pound of torque. So it's like and the way that they can rate that, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know how they do it, but it's.
Well, I'm a mechanic. Let me tell you, the first thing is the Pythagorean theorem comes in.
And so, but yeah, bikes are something I need to get. So, Arjan, I'll get. You can send me a voucher or whatever you want at any point in time, and I'll be happy to go pick one back up. I'm curious.
Yeah, buy him a bike, you cheap bastard.
Yeah, you fuck. I'm curious though. Like outside of the Harley here, out there, I know that out here you have a couple people who go for Indian heads or Yamaha Raiders, because Yamaha Raiders are very powerful. But how big are the BMW bikes out there? Because I rode a BMW bike one time for a half a mile, and I have to tell you, smoothest ride I've ever felt on a motorcycle. Curious as to like how popular those are on that side of the pond.
Yeah, we see a lot of the BMW GS 1200 RS and 1200R showing up. The big enduro touring bikes.
That's what the California State Highway Patrol uses.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Jonathan. We get the BMWs over here, which are mainly the tourers. We don't get so many of the sports bikes at all, but it's mainly the big sit up and beg tourers with a big.
Can I ask a dumb question?
I didn't even know BMW made a sport bike. They make a sport bike?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I had no idea. No, I've only seen the touring bikes. I've never seen a BMW sport bike. I thought because they own Ducati, don't they? Or are they the ones who bought Ducati?
Yeah, but they also have like the 888s and the 666s, which are fantastic. And because you got the Boxer engines, where for you, those of you who don't know, is that normally the pistons go up and down like this. On a V engine, they go like this. On
they're off center, aren't they?
They go like this, right?
The Ducati's slightly off center, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a V engine on a Ducati, often. But it's aligned with the frame, like on a Indian or a Harley. But like Yamaha, Kawasaki, all very, very often use 4-cylinder engines, which makes it run a lot smoother. And V engines are inherently unbalanced. And Boxer engines move from side to side, which also makes a bit of friction. But as soon as you get that up to a better revs,
there you
go. So that's our.
Is that a BMW sport bike?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wow! It looks like a Ducati mixed with a Gixxer.
Yeah. So the point with they also came out actually with a really nice 1800 cc BMW just this year. Yeah, 1800, and I haven't ridden it yet, which I will do in spring when I start doing reviews on the 2021 line of motorbikes on this show, the Bin Podcast. We are going to do Kawasaki's, BMWs, Hondas, Harley Davidson, Indians, and Suzuki's.
I have a question.
Because famously.
But what I want to say is, like, when you start at 1800, and the only thing I've done is to start off, is that it's the most dramatic shift in weight that I've ever felt on a startup.
Which bike had the 1800? Because the only one I've seen that high is the Goldwing Honda.
All right. While you're looking that up, I have a question. Do they make diesel motorcycles? And if not, why not?
Because the engine is too big.
Yeah, and plus diesel needs glow plugs rather than spark plugs, so that entire
And it weighs too much.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Because of the way. Okay, so do you know how auto engine works? Like a gasoline barrel.
Yeah, petrol. Yeah.
So you need those three things. You need oxygen, you need flammable, and you need a heat source. So you get the heat source from the spark plug, and you get gasoline, and then you have air coming in from the air intake. The way that diesel engine works is that when the compression, it's big.
Let me stop you there. No, diesel explodes at a higher temperature.
No. Yeah, but like the heat comes from friction, right? And the friction comes from compression. So you can say that a regular petrol engine can lift 3 elephants on its piston, while a diesel engine can lift 11. And that's why we have so much torque in the diesel engine, why all big trucks are diesel engines, because you get that instant fucking torque, right? And when you have a diesel engine, you have to make it out almost exclusively cast iron, because you have to contain all of that pressure to get a compression high enough for it to create the friction that it needs to ignite. That would be the heaviest fucking motorbike in the world if you put a fucking diesel engine in there. It would be.
I'm not saying it would be a fast bike.
So
a bike.
Yeah, but I want to show you just real quick before we move on from motorbikes, which I could talk about for hours. And I have
more of this. We get so caught up on the nitty gritty. Sometimes we just need to talk about dumbass diesel bikes and why.
Here you have the 1800cc cruiser coming from BMW, which is going to be launched, which is called the R18. And it's going to be launched in 2021. And of course, we're going to do a bit of a review on this.
What up, boy?
I just wanted to say, Casey Stoner famously tamed the Offset V Ducati that no one else could ride. He basically run the MotoGP class of bike riding on this bike that no one else could tame. He ran it, he mic dropped, he left. Valentino Rossi went on the same bike the next year, couldn't do the same thing with it. So there are Offset Vs, as you say, Zartan, that some people just can't ride.
Okay, I'm gonna segue us very abruptly. Food. We don't talk enough about fucking food on this goddamn show, and I'm sick of it. I'm taking a stand right here and right now. It's happening to you and your face.
Does anybody want me to punch him? I can punch him right now.
No.
Oh, what?
I think he might have had a gummy bear, so we can talk about it.
Not yet. After. And I'm not going to send you any. You keep bringing it up. Jesus Christ. Like, feds are going to be all over me, watching my mail. Someone in this show, I will not call out their name, but they run a food truck, and it is the most delicious sounding food truck you ever heard of in your entire life.
So that would be me.
Oh, it's Tim.
That would be me.
Tim, tell us about what you're serving up for the plebs on your food truck.
We've got the shit sandwich, extra corn.
So it's called the Melting Truck. It is a gourmet grilled cheese and soup food truck.
Sounds decent.
I didn't know about
and
food,
it is.
No soup for you.
Soup Nazi.
Oh yeah, there's soup. There's definitely soup.
Got a nice tomato biscuit.
Soup and chili.
Ooh, chili and a grilled cheese.
The truck is, by the way, powered by 100% methane fart.
That's what I'm talking about. Yo, if you hook me up with like a spicy grilled cheese and some chili in a cup, oh, bro, lunch is done. I'm going home early. That's a wrap. 3 o'clock, I'm done, boys. I'm spent.
Put yourself over. Where is your truck?
So the truck it's in Stratford, Connecticut with me. It's parked in front of my house, which my neighbors don't like, apparently. I actually had a police officer come to my door today and say, hey,
Got some grilled
one of
cheese?
your neighbors who wishes to be anonymous says they don't like your truck being parked there, and he's like,
Absurd.
"There's
Drop the people's elbow.
yeah, and he's like, there's nothing wrong with it being there. Like legally, it can be there. One of your neighbors just doesn't like it, and I have to tell you that." So, yeah,
Defund the police.
What a great use of police funds to
Right.
send people to complain about a parking.
That's
tab.
precisely the issue. Not to change the subject, but that's precisely the issue. Is the police do, and this is not a knock on cops. Police do
No,
way
not
more
that.
shit than
Oh,
they should
yeah.
be doing. You know, police
Yep.
should not be coming to your house to tell you that you're, or getting cats. They tell you your truck shouldn't be parked there, or getting cats out of trees, or breaking up domestic disputes. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Makes no sense to me.
I mean, really, the cop should have been like, "It's not really not my job to do that."
Yes.
The-
Go
the-
over there, walk down the
Yeah.
street, knock on the door, and say, "Excuse
Yeah.
me, sir, would you mind doing something else?"
Yeah,
So-
the 911 dispatch, like, did you ask your neighbor to move the truck? Okay,
You've got
and that's all you can do.
professional knocking on your door saying, "See the fella down the road. He don't like that. Bye."
That's what he did. That's what he did.
What?
Um, and like the neighbor wished to remain anonymous, so I don't even know whose door I need to knock on and be like, "What's your problem?"
Just put a paper sign on your thing like, if you don't like my truck being here, by all means, say something to me. Don't call the police like a pussy.
Well, if it's my neighbor next door, he's going to be in for a rude awakening because if I can't park it on the street, it's going on my lawn, which is next to his lawn. So it's just going to get worse for him.
As you went there, I was thinking he's going to say, "I'm going to take a shit on his doorstep."
So the truck will be it'll be finished in 2 weeks. We have to go and get a new paint job on it, and then it'll be ready to go.
Awesome.
But yeah, we'll be starting in November. We're already lining up places to go to. We're going to go to local microbreweries, and
Good work.
they'll be selling beer with our grilled cheese, which is, I believe, a great combination.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
I can go for that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's going to be fun. The truck is it's giant. It's massive. It used to be a FedEx truck, one of our commercial postal services. And it's just a huge. It weighs 7 tons right now.
Ooh.
It's huge.
Something out of Top Gear.
Yeah. Oh no,
Built
no,
by
and it doesn't go
James
very
May.
fast uphill. It's got a diesel engine, and
Jartan's got a semi. These are
Heard that word? You don't even know what it's called a Hemi, do you?
I said a semi. Oh, for
combustion,
fuck.
Assembly.
combustion chamber, hemispherical intake, exhaust.
Nope.
so
The little
it's
top
Cams.
Hang Jartan's got his facts.
So- a fun fact about this truck. It doesn't do very well up the side of a mountain.
Oh yeah, because
Um,
you bought the truck somewhere else and you have to drive it to where you're at now.
I-
Tell that story.
So I bought it in the state of Maryland, which is about 4 or 5 hours south of Connecticut. And there are 2 very interesting things about driving this truck. Driving it back, number 1, I didn't have a license plate on it because Connecticut doesn't issue license plates to bring something back to the state. And Maryland, the state I was driving it from, didn't issue temporary license plates at all. So I had to drive this truck with no license plate on it through like 4 or 5 different states. The other thing is I couldn't bring it through New York City because New York City doesn't want vehicles with propane tanks on it going through their bridges and tunnels.
Mike,
So I
what
had
reprobate
yeah.
you inviting onto this channel.
exactly. So I had to go through the mountains of Pennsylvania and New York. And
Ugh.
it was a 10-hour drive because the maximum speed of the truck is about 55 miles an hour.
Oh god.
And the maximum speed limit on those highways is about 65 miles an hour. So I was getting passed by everyone. And when the highway got to like one lane because there was construction or something.
Oh,
I was
God.
in the front, and there was a line of cars behind me because they were pissed.
You were that guy.
I had my business partner follow me because I didn't have the license plate on the truck. So he would follow behind me in case a police car passed me by and said, "Oh, that truck doesn't look registered. We're going to pull you over." And so he followed me very closely the whole way. Luckily, we didn't get pulled over by anyone. We didn't have to pay any tolls because we went the long way around.
White guy driving?
No, my partner is a black guy. So I
Exactly.
told him,
you gotta have the
if-
white guy driving the big
Yeah.
truck with no plates on it, because if you had the black guy driving it out, you wouldn't have made it out the parking
Yeah.
lot.
I told him if I got pulled over, just to keep going. Because you never know. Especially because we were going through some pretty rural parts of Pennsylvania and New York, and it was definitely Trump country out there.
What are you doing here, boy?
That's a
Exactly.
pretty big truck you got there. What's in it?
So
Rappers.
I'm
Where'd
gonna
you
I'm
steal
gonna
it
make
from?
a promise right now. I'm gonna make a promise right now. As soon as this Corona shit is over, I am coming over
Okay.
and I'm gonna drive Tim's truck,
Oh,
his
God.
food truck, around with Tim for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
I'm
That
gonna
is
be
fine.
your
Don't do
driver.
it, Tim. He's gonna eat all your fucking grilled cheeses, bro.
Listen,
He's gonna be fucking
listen.
sitting back like Fat Thor from fucking Endgame, just fucking
Yeah.
living life.
Look at my sex here,
Here, I'm gonna. Can I share? Can I
Not
share a
that.
picture? I'll share a picture of it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Share
fuck
screen
yeah.
and then do your thing, and I'll pop it up in the show.
All right,
I'm
hold on, let me bring up the picture.
Wayne, go ahead.
Oh,
Let me see if I can find a picture of it that I can use.
Well, in the meantime, Wayne's got something to add. Hit it, Wayne.
Yeah, I just want to talk about our current Corona business. We over here we've created a 3-tiered system. So tier 1 being medium risk, tier 2 being high risk, and tier 3 being
You're fucked.
ultra high risk. Yeah, you're done.
You're,
And,
you're already dead.
Big shot.
My,
Here's
Mine-
3. They call it Joe Biden.
yeah, tier 3 is just called woodshed.
Look at the pretty ducks.
Pretty much that.
No chickens?
Fuck's sake.
Can chickens
Anyway,
swim? That's a good question.
Here in the beloved county of Essex, where I reside, our county council requested that we be put on a higher tier, which basically means, as of Friday at midnight, no inter-household mixing in any public or private
Ooh, what kind of mixing?
whatsoever,
Scandalous.
whatsoever, apart from work and school. So even if I go to the pub,
Uh-huh.
I would have to sit on my own table with just me or my illustrious lady and my beautiful children.
AKA.
That would be it. Yeah, she ain't, mate. You think
No.
she's watching?
No, she has never seen one episode of the show.
She's upstairs watching Towie, calling me a cunt.
Watching Lufa.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, big dress.
Big dress.
Drink it.
Drink it.
But anyway, yeah, so for me, it's a precursor to a second lockdown because our numbers are going through the roof.
Wave 2.
Mm-hmm.
They told you.
And everyone was saying it's because the schools have gone back. I believe it's not. I believe because of the numbers and the stats that the biggest amount of people that are getting corona are 19 to 29-year-olds.
What?
And gyms had opened 2 weeks before this spike. Who are the most likely people to go to gyms? 19 to 29-year-olds. But everyone,
People watching sport ball. And people watching sport ball.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. Just fuck off with Asgard. Just leave me alone. Anyway, I believe that this is why we're getting the biggest spike we're getting now. Because people are going to the gyms, people are coughing over everyone, people are heavy breathing, people are sweating, people are touching stuff. And that's not really been factored in. Everything's all about schools and the workplace. It's not schools and the workplace, it's gyms. That's my belief. I'd like to throw it to the floor and see if anyone else has an idea on that.
Well, y'all all know me. I don't work out, so not it.
Fuck
Tim,
off.
Yeah, I
y'all
don't.
been
I
in
don't
the
go.
gyms?
I stopped.
Coughing and
I stopped
sweating?
going to the gym as soon as the corona's happened. I ain't going back there till it's over.
Yeah, I'm not fucking going there with a fucking nasty ass fucking like the little butt machine. Make your butt muscles big. No, I'm not going on that after dude's been coughing all over the handles.
Although we're not exactly social distancing here. After probably
Yeah.
wearing my mask. I don't know
There's
where he's
kind
been.
of a violation going on right here.
Viruses
Shit.
can't live in my body thanks to the contents of my invisible cup. They all die on entry.
Invisible cuck.
Fuck you, Wayne. You shit. I'm gonna put a chroma key on you for your blue fucking shirt, and it's gonna fucking disappear.
That's why
Your
we
shirt,
have
and I
to
can't
get
wait.
someone over.
Fucking do it right now. Oh,
I think that the virus is spreading because it's a virus, and that's what viruses do. You know, it's on top of that. Here's the thing that's interesting. The people, you would think that, especially in the United States with a conservative president in power, you know, Trump being in power
Republican,
and having his basically his entire presidency judged on how he handles COVID. You would think if you were just came here from Mars today that it would be Democrats would be running around without masks trying to spread it to fuck the guy over, and conservatives doing whatever they could to contain the virus, right? Like you would, that to me would be common sense if people were trying to weaponize this. The fact that it's the opposite of that is astonishing. It really doesn't even make any sense. You know, it's the people who hate the guy in power who's responsible for it, who are trying to help him to get rid of it. You know, and that speaks to me volumes. You know, I went into a rally in Bakersfield, California, on Saturday, and it was, I mean, I had a mask on. It was like a face shield mask.
that thing sucked.
And
by the way.
it did suck for what I was using it for. I probably should have used a different kind. But
Like, why is it attached to your bottom jaw when that's the thing that moves when you talk? So as soon as you talk, it gets out of the way.
I bought it for the gym, by the way. So go fuck yourself.
You'd be talking at the gym.
Yeah, I bought it for the gym because
like,
I wanted
344.
the clear mask. It's sort of shaped like this a little bit, so it sits like this, right? But it goes like so. Like if I can get the angle right, it kind of looks like this, but it's clear, obviously. So I don't have any restriction for breathing. It goes up. You know, my breath just up and goes like this. Where with the mask, I'm inhaling that hot air over and over again. So I bought it for that, but nonetheless, I went into this rally, not really a rally, but it was just crazy to me that, like, I would say 75% of the people who were holding Biden flags and Black Lives Matter flags, etc., were masked, and it was the opposite dynamic on the Trump side. Now, the Trump side was a little bit smaller, but not much. And I think there was probably 8 people that I saw with masks on, compared to, you know, the other side. So it's like, I don't understand what it is with Trump supporters and not wanting to wear masks. I hate wearing my mask. I cannot fucking stand it.
I can explain it if you'd like, because it all.
Well, they keep chalking it up to freedom, but it's got nothing to do with that.
No, it caters to that. Don't tread on me. That stupid fucking yellow flag with a snake. That don't tread on me. Don't tell me what to do. bullshit. That libertarian fucking bunch of cunts who think that they're invulnerable, that exceptionalism that I've spoken about before, where it's never going to happen to me because I'm American or I'm English or whatever. It's just absolute fucking cod shit. Oh, that's something that happens to other people until it happens to them. Until it happens to them. Until something comes up and slaps people in the face, they will just go, nah, fuck it, ain't happening to me. And
But they don't just willy-nilly disobey the no shirt, no shoes, no service sign at Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, how that's an infringement on your...
Let me correct you. Let me correct you there. Working in retail, there's a bunch of people who bring their kids in with no shoes. There's a bunch of adults who come in with no shoes into a business with no.
When you say a bunch, though, I mean, you're talking about one a month. I can't. I worked in retail. I've never seen that ever.
A few a week.
But with the mask thing, it's like what 30% of people, maybe of just general 25% of people.
Trump, but it's Trump though. Trump gave them permission.
Yeah.
To not wear a mask.
When he's come back and backed that off, and they're still not wearing it.
Yo, that
but they think that he's being pushed away. They think that stuff is being pushed on him now. He doesn't really want to wear the mask, which is what he's trying to portray.
Right. When Trump came back from the hospital and he stood on that balcony and he pulled that mask off in his shitty Avengers style promo, right? Do you think that says to people, yeah, I don't need a mask? Or do you think he says, I'm Trump and this mask is irrelevant?
That shit was downright Orwellian. Like that.
It was
that
weird.
Is Trump. Yeah, that was Trump at his like Trumpiest, trying to portray that he beat the virus and now everyone can do it. And after that's what he said afterwards. He feels amazing now.
Amazing.
He said, I could beat it. Now you can beat it.
To put in a vernacular that I would say, he's come out and gone, I'm a double-R bastard. Fuck this fucking virus.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck out of it. I'm immune, aren't I?
Yeah. Now he's the hardest motherfucker there is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not even Corona could stop me.
So here was my initial thoughts when I saw the news of Donald Trump being infected was, oh, please, motherfucker, die. Then I talked to a good friend of mine, and he said, I don't believe it. I didn't believe it either.
I'm glad that he didn't die. Because if he died from the Roni, then he would be the biggest fucking modern day martyr.
Oh yeah, he would have been a huge martyr, huge.
But here's the deal, right? So I talked to a good friend of mine, Dr. Emma's husband, Drew.
Hey, Drew! I love Drew.
Yeah,
Shout out Drew.
And his first initial reaction was like, I don't believe it. I don't believe that he's actually being infected. I just believe that he did this so that he could come off it, doing exactly what he did. Like, look at me, I'm fucking Superman. I took the super virus on and I ate fucking KFC and got down McDonald's and everything's fine. And
because he was taking hydroxychloroquine
directly
into my fucking eyeballs myself, and now I'm fine.
I didn't have kale. I had KFC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tremendous KFC. Steroids, they were quite good. Not as tremendous as the KFC. Okay.
Well, he was, remember, for weeks, if not months, he had claimed that he was taking hydroxychloroquine. Right?
Yeah.
So
why did he get it in the first place? He was taking hydroxychloroquine.
Exactly. Well, but he's going to say that this.
He was like that with a fucking belt and fucking jacket up. And there you go.
Shooting it up like Compound V from the Boys. You know, he had my first instinct when I heard it. I think I said that on our. I don't remember. It might have been a sideshow on Voice from the Underground, but I didn't believe it. Like I wasn't saying it was fake. But let's just say it this way. If it were to come out that that it was not real, I would not be the slightest bit surprised by that.
But like I can just like see Donald J. Vogt sitting in the ER with a needle with hand sanitizer, just like injecting it straight into his fucking eyeballs, and then coming out like Superman. But it's like it's a good point that we've come to a point where we have a leader of a democratic country, where he lies so often that we've gone to taking what he says on face value to doing the opposite. We assume that everything he says is a lie until it's been proven
And
it's part of the
to be
act.
true.
And to be fair, that's kind of why, like, when the information came out that the U.S. government knew about Corona in January, and then he's like, "Oh, that's why I shut down the border to China." It's like, well, you didn't tell us about Corona, really. You just shut down the border. And if you have a track record of being a racist piece of shit, we assume that you're being a racist piece of shit.
His interview.
See, the Democrats tried to stop you from doing it. It's like, yeah, because you didn't let the American people know what the actual situation was. You just started shutting shit down without saying nothing.
Can I just finish my point, please? Can I just finish my point?
No.
So when fuck you. So the point I'm trying to make is that when we have somebody who's lying all the time, and we have started to assume that everything he says is a lie. So when he says, "I've been affected by Corona," why should we believe him? Why would that all of a sudden be true just because it's why? Why would that be a truth? So I'm kind of naive in this. I really want to believe that people that I meet are telling me the truth, and I give them the benefit of that until proven otherwise, right? But we have come to a point with him where everything he says I perceive as a lie until it's been proven that he's been telling the truth. So it goes the other way around. Wayne, please.
I would like to say, Tim, you're going to back me up on this.
Oh boy.
Okay.
It's a worked shoot.
It is. It is.
He's basically seen there's an angle there to exploit, and like all WWE stuff that goes on, he's seen something that's good with pop culture, and he's latched onto it and gone, "Oh, do you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I've got coronavirus. That's popular. That's going to get me ratings. That's going to get me eyeballs."
Well,
it's a worked shoot.
I think the part of it that is a work is by the way, people don't know what a work is. A work is you're being like lied to. A work, the part of it that's a work is the part where he was never like in real danger, and the doctors say that he was fine by the second day or whatever, and no one ever got a straight answer out of any of his doctors about what his condition actually was. That's the part. That's the part that was theatrics. Because no one knew how sick the American president was, because no one would tell us. And the doctors would come out, "Oh yeah, he's fine. He's on this medication, that medication. He's taking some experimental drugs that we didn't know about before." But
which came out as soon as he got sick.
And Eric Trump actually said, "My dad took the vaccine." At the hospital.
He said that. He also said that his dad created the vaccine and then took it.
And then he was on a conservative show. I want to say it was Hugh Hewitt.
Oh, that guy.
And Hugh Hewitt said,
"I'm going to sell you a fine used car. My name's Hugh Hewitt."
It was Hewitt or Prager, one of the two.
I'm going to sell you a used book. My name is Dennis Prager.
Prager is slightly better than...
We are going to continue this discussion in the after show. I just have to tell you, our news flash just came in. The World Health Organization just came out with a warning that the amount of deaths by COVID-19 in Europe is projected to be 4 or 5 times higher than they were in April in just a few months. Just came in.
Oh, well then fuck that. I'm not moving to Sweden.
Well, that makes sense with the wet, because, viruses do tend to travel more in cold weather, and it's not because of the cold weather.
No, it's because we're in enclosed spaces.
Right. It's because of recirculated air.
Yeah.
So
can we, as a public health announcement, can we let people know that the virus that is the most phenomenon at the moment is more likely to be circulated because we're indoors. Nothing to do with the temperature. Nothing to do with the temperature. It's all to do because we're more indoors.
Corona is
Yeah.
gone. Trump told me once the weather got hot, the virus dies.
Well,
Okay.
see, I got some bleach and I injected it into my body, and I feel fantastic.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Well, that's because outside you have ice. Outside, the sun through some through some chemical process that I don't understand, it produces hydrogen peroxide.
Oh, nice.
So hydrogen peroxide basically purifies our outside air from a lot of viruses.
Yeah,
So-
you can't even get it outside.
Yeah, and interestingly, hydrogen peroxide, I read a study on this where it's like alcohol kills coronavirus at like 60%.
I'm golden.
Yeah, but well, what proof is that though? But
12%.
but that hydrogen peroxide kills it at like 0.4% or some ungodly number. So it's like,
Also UV light as well.
well, UV light will kill anything organic, and that's actually something that I used to work.
That's why Trump gets a spray tan.
Why he gets a spray tan. So UV light is actually something that I will say, having a background in air conditioning. If your air conditioning technician comes to you and asks you if you want the upgraded filter and if you want UV on your air conditioning system, especially if you're in a business and you say no,
You're a fool.
you're really not making a very good decision, because a UV light on your coil is great because it'll kill bacteria on your coil, but a UV light inside of your
But
inside of
Sorry. Sorry, I'm thinking of the
air
conscious.
recirculator can actually not only for
Sorry,
coronavirus,
I'm
but it can help you
literally
with
like
anything.
100
So-
miles from the Arctic Circle. What the fuck do I need an AC for?
Well,
he's never been hot.
the heat though as well,
But-
because your heat goes through the same system as your air conditioner.
Have you ever sweated before, Shartan? I've never asked.
Zartan just uses Mjolnir.
Yeah.
What sweat?
Hold your hand out. Hold your hand out. I want to see the hammer come back. There it goes.
Just a big thwum, and then it's just in his.
You do know that this is going to be somebody is going to take this and like they're sitting there going like Sea Heil
Nazi salutes on the Bin
fucking
Podcast.
Nazis. All right, we are going to do our last topic. Then we're going to go into after show, and this is a topic very Swedish, but it has
Sweet it
ramifications
up.
around the world.
Swedish
So
pancakes?
Is it Volvo?
We're having Swedish pancakes?
Again.
no, you need to go to IKEA and buy some meatballs, mate. You look starved.
Is it? Are we talking about Volvo or carbs?
What happened
Yeah,
is,
maybe.
I'm not gonna pull this up because it's in Swedish, and there
Pull it
are
up anyway.
actually. All right, I'm gonna pull it up
You're not
anyway.
going to pull it out? I'll pull it out.
No, Corona.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
I don't know
whoa,
what's
whoa,
on
whoa.
that thing.
Demonetized.
I'm
Alright,
just trying to
I'm
get us to
gonna-
go viral.
Yeah, all right,
No,
all right, all
wrong
right.
virus. I don't need that
Yeah,
one.
the virus down there, nobody wants to know about, mate. That
We don't
is,
want to spread that on the
the-
internet.
It's not a
So
virus.
what you need to-
It's a
if you want to
condition.
see
It's a
Dutch's virus
bacterial
down there, you need to
infection.
go to thedeviants.com. Mike's,
Hey,
Mike-
up, up, up. Nope.
All right.
Don't do
So,
that.
all right. Somebody's ringing. What happened is, on the day, 3 years after Elisa Milano's wrote the tweet that got the whole world to shout out "Me Too," a bunch of
I can read that.
feminist activists did a very telling survey. Not a survey, but a sort of experiment. So they start a sugar dating site called Rent a Girl. Hyr flickan. Rent a girlfriend, actually. Hyr flickvän. .se. And they put out flyers. They create the website, and they it was a sugar dating site. and they put out flyers on a big factory not far from where I live. Under the days that this website was active, 808 men went on this fake website, and they
How
got.
many of those 808 men were you?
I was 807 of them. But 808 men went on this website, and they started and what happened is that 16%.
Whoa. Jartan's trying to make a...
Sorry, we interrupted. I apologize.
All right, and
I thought we were on mute.
808 men, 16%, 1 out of 6, clicked underage girls when they ticked off the boxes of preferences. So they were searching for an underaged sugar date, which says a lot. 1 out of 6. And these men, they thought they were going into a legitimate fucking sugar dating site to get somebody that they could basically pay to hang out with.
We have a comment from Twitch. Demon Discourse. What up, boy? Textbook definition of baiting, which proves nothing in terms of rape, but that several politicians are scumbags.
No, these were not politicians. These flyers were put on factory workers' vehicles. So these 808 men were not politicians or anything. They were just regular people who went in and got one within the 6 days of this webpage being active. I think it was 6 days. Give me a second. 5 days. Sorry, 5 days.
So Tim, your thoughts on this activist making a fake website in which you can rent women, and the large response, I should say. I think that's a large response. From that community.
So this activist, were they trying to prove something like scientifically, or were they just trying to like
make a point?
Yeah. Okay. So there's some ethical problems with that sort of point making.
Fishing.
Yeah, there's not. So the only way I can comment on it is from like a political scientist standpoint, where their methodology is a bit flawed. The problem I have with that is that these guys were
looking for it.
Yeah, and they were sort of advertised to, and they weren't like given any sort of notice that they were being studied. And I know that would have changed the results probably, but it just doesn't seem right. And I know people like what they like, and some people like weird shit, but to broadcast that after you've already, done the study or whatever, to broadcast that it just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so a bit of pushback. So what this seems like you're saying that if I didn't lock my front door and somebody went in and stole my TV,
no,
it's my fault because I didn't lock the front door.
No. I'm not saying that the guys who want the underage women aren't wrong, because they are wrong. I'm saying that the way they went about it was a little bit weird and unethical.
Jartan, if you leave your house with your door unlocked and you then post on your social media, my house is unlocked, that's the analogy you want to make. But you can't just say, I'm just popping in the shop with my door unlocked, because you're inviting people to look at your unlocked door.
No, but these are people not who visited the website. These are people who registered.
They're invited.
But they were advertised too, right? They were advertised too.
Yeah,
but they weren't told that they were being studied in any way.
No, but should you always tell people to get a really good result? Tell them that they're being studied?
No, but they
go ahead.
So in the social sciences, let's say, sociology, political science, and
I
whatnot.
have never claimed this to be a science project in any way
know.
or scientific. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just trying to come at it from that angle where when you research human subjects and you research their behaviors, there are certain things that you're supposed to do to, first of all, keep their anonymity. I don't know how much of it was anonymous. Like
like none of their personal information has
Okay,
been released at all. Like they've only told the numbers and
okay.
and the
Then
demographic.
then yeah, they've come at it from a better approach when they're releasing data, but when they're originally trying to recruit people, the bait and switch sort of aspect of it is the part that troubles me. Where
Sorry.
they were advertising to men about
Yeah, did
prostitution, essentially, right?
Sorry, Tim. Were they? You said they were targeted at factory workers.
The only report of where the flyers were distributed came from a factory spokesman, but
So
there are not 1,000 workers on that factory, so they have to be there has
Okay.
to be additional advertisement. But
I
that
mean,
is no reports
so
on that.
it looks to me like it's a targeted, self-agendered study that is it's like a gotcha question.
Yeah, and like you said, like I know it's not a scientific
bullshit,
thing.
Bullshit, Wayne. Bullshit. If I fucking put out a fucking tweet that says, "Hey, if you want to see underage girls, click here," and I get them to register themselves after they've clicked that, and people say that and do that, and then I say, "Oh, well, you guys tricked me into thinking that." No, you were actively looking for underage fucking girls, you fucking monster.
But you were prompted. You were prompted.
No.
It
Come
doesn't
on.
matter. You
Right.
clicked all the things that led towards underage girls. It wasn't an accident.
That's like saying that I wouldn't have raped that girl if she wasn't wearing a short skirt.
Yeah, don't. We can't switch
Right.
this over to victim blame.
Wait. Let's go back. So what Wayne is saying is that the crime, it's a crime opportunity, and it's only a crime because the opportunity was presented. Is that what you're saying? Because they wouldn't have done it. Then no. They wouldn't have done it if the flyer wasn't on their windshield. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah,
They wouldn't have done it.
bullshit.
They wouldn't have done it that day.
They wouldn't have done it on
Right,
that site.
right. And
Can you please not interrupt and let them answer, and then I'll get to you.
Yeah, we're coming.
Tim, do you want to?
Yeah, so behaviorally, yeah, if the flyer wasn't presented to them, if they weren't advertised to, then it's not something they would have requested, right? Because they were just going about their business, and their business may have been doing that anyway on the internet, but this would not have gotten, the internet would have not put out a study about them, basically. And I know that it's an activist trying to portray a certain thing or trying to put out data about something, but if you're one of those 800 or so men, like, how do you feel? You were a part of a study that you weren't aware of.
Okay. Push back from. Let's start with Jason, and then we'll go to Mikey.
Actually, I'll comment on this, and then I got to take off. But I got a long drive in front of me. But first of all, you never see anybody apologizing when they park the dummy car in the black neighborhood, and then they're sitting there with a camera on it, waiting to arrest people of color, specifically because they put it in a black neighborhood. The bait car. So you never see any sympathy for that. So I don't have any sympathy for this, guys. I will say, personally, I'm glad that the study came out.
And it's not a study; it's an activist project just to show.
Yeah,
okay,
and that's perfectly fine. There's nobody.
I don't think that's the same point. I don't think that's the same point.
Well, they're not being charged with a crime. So if they were being charged with a crime, then that would be something different because it probably wouldn't be admissible, at least in U.S. court. If this is a different country, I don't know what that law is. But but there is something I will say about it is that, a lot of times the right wing uses pedophilia in this weird way, like with QAnon and like this hypersensitivity to everything is child trafficking and everybody's a pedophile and that sort of thing. And because of that, I will say that a lot of times folks who are not in that community do get slightly desensitized to this. I will admit that that has happened to me as well, because when I hear something that is about child pornography and something like that, my first tendency is to assume that it's not real, because I see so much fake stuff coming from Q, and like Comet Ping Pong and all that type of stuff.
Exactly
But
that.
it is important, though, that we do realize that these things are real. Okay, that there is an issue with this in this world, and that that people are warped, and we have to find a way to snuff this out. And it comes. I'm not sure if pedophilia is a sickness or not. I kind of lean towards it is, because I'm not sure if prosecution or treatment medically is better, or both possibly. I don't have the answers to those questions, but I do know that most of it is undiagnosed, most of it is undiscovered, and that's why you have that To Catch a Criminal show on, what was it, NBC, where all these guys are just coming over to a kid's house and taking off all their freaking clothes. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I have my oldest daughter was a victim of rape, so I take this very, very seriously, and it's something that we need to rub out of society. So any test or study that we can do that shines a light on it and can identify these people and weed them out of society, to me, is perfectly fine. But again, we are desensitized to it because of
No. Wait a second. I'm trying to moderate a bit here. So first of all, we have to get away from the fact this was not a scientific study. It was not presented as a scientific study. Only the results were given in numbers and statistics. So
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. So they've never claimed that this is scientific in any way, and they've said that we have put out flyers. The only place that we know that they've been put on flyers is because a press secretary from that factory said, we are aware of these flyers because there were reports of these flyers coming in. If they were put out across town or across country, we don't know demographic, we don't know where people live, and this has not been published. So, and it's never been claimed to be scientific. So we can get away from that. The thing that I really think is important here is that whether or not you have been presented, because these sugar dating sites is not something that hasn't existed before. We know that these sites exist around the internet, and the blueprint that they used is basically identical to one of the existing sugar dating sites that is accessible in Sweden right now. And the fact that you have 1 out of 6 men, 16% of men, presses a button that says that you would prefer somebody under the age of 18.
That's
because
problematic.
The age of consent in Sweden is 15, right? So you can legally have.
Whoa, what?
There you go.
What the fuck is wrong with this place?
I don't want to talk about the law. We can talk about the law at a different time. That is the law right now. The age of consent in Sweden is 15. But
wrong. The thesis is wrong.
Well, you can marry. Hey, you know what? You can marry people as young as 13 in America.
Yeah,
So,
no.
Can you please shut the fuck up for 2 fucking seconds? Let me get this question out there. So the point is, like, the age of consent is 15, but you're legally an adult when you're 18. So you're considered a kid under the age of 18. So
right.
Yeah. So they were within the age of consent, but
Can I ask
under
you a question though? Is it the age of consent 15? If you're having sex with someone else who's 15, or if I'm having sex with someone who's 30, is the age of consent still 15?
If you're 30 and she's 15, that's okay.
You see?
Oh Jesus! Your whole fucking country. So fuck the study. Your whole fucking country needs a fucking revamp. That's nasty shit.
The thesis.
Yeah.
The thesis is wrong.
So laws and whatnot aside, I kind of wish that it was a more scientific study, because then you could see who they were studying on the front end, like who were the people they were going after,
Right.
who were
And
the
why?
people, like you don't know anything about the demographics of the people they were going after.
Right.
There you go.
And why were
Which-
they going after them, right? Because if they're going after them
Yeah.
to cause fear or to shine a light
Well,
in a negative way on a
just-
certain
yeah.
group.
If they had a certain group in mind that they were advertising to, then they should have at least released that data, because then you can see a correlation. The problem is,
No. What I'm saying is, like, I know that. Well, I don't know. That there might be people in this study. Well, no, it's not a study. Fuck, I just did the same thing in
Yeah.
this project, in
Project.
this activist
Project.
project, in this activist project. All
Dutch
right,
is running out of the
everybody,
door.
say bye bye to Dutch. We hope to
Bye.
see you again soon. Make sure that you go into Voices from the Underground podcast and
Voices.
catch Tim.
Yeah.
And
I was
so
on the
much
last
I
one.
can-
Yeah.
Where's your shirt?
Thank you for coming, mate. Really
on the
appreciate
couch.
all right. We don't know if maybe a lot of these people who registered are 18-year-olds, right?
Right. Jartan, you said something that was so fucking true. We don't know. That's the end of discussion. It's a bullshit fucking story. It's a bullshit thesis. It's a bullshit fucking program, because it means nothing. It means nothing.
You tonight.
I'll talk.
I understand the point that they're trying to make, and I agree with their point that it is wrong, and that 1 in 6 men is kind of crazy, but they have.
But we
They
don't
don't-
know. But
But
the
you-
point I'm trying to make, is that we don't know if these 1 out of 6 men are guys under the age of 20.
Right.
Right. So
And they wanted to find a
Jartan,
17-year-old. Like, we don't know.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
No, so
When
no.
you-
Can you just give me a second?
No, let me finish this point. When you say we don't know, you can't carry on. You can't carry on.
Yes, you can.
No, you fucking can't. How can you say, well, I think the moon is made of cheese, but we don't know it's not? Fuck off.
Yes.
No.
The reason that we can go on is that 808 men within a period of 5 days in a very small city. I think we're about 120,000.
Give me the parameters. Give me
Yeah.
all the parameters. Give me everything.
Think that it's okay to buy a girlfriend, to rent a girlfriend, to give her monetary benefits or material benefits for her company.
Okay.
That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Give me the data.
No, you don't need any more data, because if I find a flyer like that, on my no,
Yeah,
you don't need anything.
I'll get on. I'll be like, fuck off.
No,
mate.
That's all.
but if you put no, if you put a flyer that says go to this website to find a date right now, a sugar dating, I would go.
Yeah. Right.
But you choose by free will to go like, hey, that sounds like a good idea. And then
Okay.
you can say it's a bait and switch or what the fuck ever, but you still make a conscious fucking decision to go to that website because you want to buy somebody else's fucking body.
I feel
That's
similar.
what you want to do.
And that is a form of consent to be a subject of research, is if you apply for whatever advertisement that you're advertised at.
That's interesting that you say that, because they're
And I
not
didn't
asking
mean
for
to
the
start
age
a
of
whole argument about
no, you're perfect, because
So-
they didn't ask for the age of consent.
studying people and stuff like that. I just thought it was peculiar that
Tim, we argue every week. It's
okay.
fine.
No,
All right.
this is what we do.
Um,
We bring up something, and then we all just start screaming at each other, and it's a good time. And for some reason, people keep coming back week after week. But it's funny that you say that the people didn't have consent on being part of the study. How the fuck can a 15-year-old consent to being with a 50-year-old? She's 15.
But the legal age of consent in Sweden is what? Jartan?
Which is what I'm asking about, is like, how the hell in this so-called utopia up in the frozen north above the wall will you allow 15-year-olds to be taken advantage of either emotionally or financially by older men? they're not ready to make those kind of life decisions about what's good and what's bad for them. There are children.
Who says?
Who says? What do you mean?
Yeah. Who says?
I would hope that the governing bodies would decide as a group
They
that
did. They said it was 15.
that yikes. Time to get rid of the incumbents.
In Spain, it's 13.
Yeah, what? Those are
Yeah.
babies. Those are little ass baby children. What are y'all doing over there in Europe? Y'all wildin'. Stop it.
And this is what I'm saying, Mikey.
Y'all nasty.
You are trying to judge the world on your parameters.
I'm
So-
asking questions
yeah.
based on my parameters.
No, but here's the deal. In Norway, 16, Sweden is 15. I think it's it might be 14 in Denmark. I think 14 or 16. I really can't remember.
What?
It's 13 in Spain, and that's the legal age of consent. So that's where you're allowed to to have sex, and you can give consent to that sexual act.
Wow.
So no.
This is what I'm saying, Mikey. You see what I'm saying?
But Mikey, when did you lose your virginity?
17.
17. But what was the legal age of consent?
For someone also 17, someone who is 16, but if I'm under 18 and someone's over 18, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
Look at Mikey buried himself.
So here's
What's
the
the
deal.
legal age of consent in
So-
America?
So
It's-
Depends on the state.
It depends on the state, but largely given it's 18.
There you go.
18.
Alright.
But if you are also a minor,
When was the last? When did you have your first drink?
18.
Oh, so
Well, the Iraq War was going, and the Iraq War was going. I'm like, if they're gonna send me to the fucking desert in some sort of weird George Bushian draft, I'm getting some fucking Bacardi in my system first. Like, fuck off.
do you see my point?
Mine was also 18, but I was in Canada at the time.
Oh, so then he's good to go.
Oh,
Do as the Romans do.
here's the deal, right? So, am I the only one who had a younger girlfriend when I was 17?
My girlfriend was like a year under me. Like, she was like essentially the same age, like 10 months apart.
I'm just trying to think.
Yeah,
When
but
I'm
would that be illegal though?
I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't legal for either one of us to have sex with either one of us. But
Did
it
you have-
wasn't that one person was of a consenting age of having sex and
Oh,
one person
so
wasn't.
That's all right. So that's all right.
Here's what I'm saying, Wayne. So there's
It's
a
still illegal, right?
Can I finish? There's a
Yeah,
difference between a 16 and a 17-year-old having sex and a 17 and a 35-year-old having sex. Would you agree?
I agree.
Wayne, would you agree?
Yeah.
So I think the whole thing that you guys are bringing up is a little bit of a red herring, and it doesn't really pertain to what we're talking about. Because if there's two people who are very closely in age, but they both happen to be under 18, that's something that we can debate and we can argue over.
I disagree. I disagree massively.
So you don't think that people that are similar in age. So you don't think that people that are similar in age, like 16, 17, 18, that they should not have some sort of leniency, or there should be some sort of like clause in the law that protects those people, but we don't want to prosecute the 2-month older boyfriend because his 17-year-old girlfriend is 2 months younger than him. Like that's kind of the
what you're doing is you're putting arbitrary numbers and arbitrary checkpoints.
That's why I'm asking you the questions instead of answering the questions. You're telling me that it's arbitrary. So I'm trying to figure out where you're.
all of it's arbitrary.
This is my. That's fine, but this is the thing, Wayne. I'm trying to find out where your line is. So if someone is me and my girlfriend are both 17. We're seniors in high school, right?
Mhm.
My birthday comes up, and now I'm 18.
Mm-hmm.
If I have sex with her, is that
You're a rapist.
you think that those people are rapists? Like actively and actually.
By the letter of the law, you're a rapist.
No, but actively and actual.
Okay, well then.
Okay,
then
listen to what I'm asking, and then you'll have a perfect way to respond. So, actively and actually, do you think that couple that you see walking through the shops holding hands, do you think that that boy is a rapist because he's 2 months older than her?
By the letter of the law, we have to go by yes. We
Or
have to.
or you put caveats
Or
or so listen, or you put caveats in the law, which is the case in Illinois, where if people are dating and they're in high school, they don't charge the boyfriend as a sexual predator because he may be a minor himself.
Right.
No, but just calm down a bit, because all right, so there are in almost every consenting law there are
Obligatory
caveats.
rape laws.
There are no, but there are caveats to this, right? So if you are in similar age and you're very close in age, and one of you are under underage at the moment, but it's just a few months. It's the same thing in Sweden. Like if a 15-year-old and a 14-year-old, but they're just months apart, they have sex. It's over and done with. But you have to take into consideration. I have to, and I looked this up. In 31 of your states, Mikey, there are the consent age is 16. In 9 states, it's 17, and in 11 states, it's 18. So you're not that far off. So 31 of your states, the majority of your states, are at 16.
Yeah, and I'm in Illinois, which is a little bit more progressive than I would think, like in Alabama or Arkansas or even Missouri for that point. But I get
you stereotyping southern states.
Shut up. I'm from Missouri, you bitch. The thing is, I get that we don't want predators preying on young women. I don't want the junior college burnout guy going to the high school and picking up sophomores. I get that 100%. But hold on.
He's got his sleeve rolled up with his cigarettes in it.
His Lucky Strikes.
Yeah.
but at the same time,
cigarettes.
but at the same time, if there is a couple who are seniors in high school and they're sexually active and they break up, I don't want the boy to go to jail as a sex offender because it was a bad breakup. And it's just, well, I was underage and he raped me. Like, we have to leave some space in the law to make it so that it doesn't punish people who are just doing what everybody else does.
Mikey,
and it's weird.
Can I just answer a question from the chat, if you don't mind?
I mean, Mikey, we're talking about a different country. We're talking about different rules and different laws. You are trying to govern on your laws that regulate.
I'm not trying to govern. I'm saying I don't like it. That's not me governing. I'm just saying what I feel about it.
And that's fine. But can I answer a question from the chat? Is that
Hit
okay?
it.
Go on.
Yeah, all right. So Chaos says that article says the study was about online brothels, which is true, because we have our law for coupling and prostitution is a bit different from the rest of the world. So it's not illegal for you to sell sex. It's just illegal for you to buy sex. So it's the sex buyer who commits a criminal act. So it's not decriminalized. It's just been.
How does that work?
So it's to protect the weaker part, right? To protect the ones who are often victimized by these crimes. So and to
Don't ask him a question, Wayne, and then talk over him. Let him answer.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the reason they are calling these sugar babe sites for online brothels is because it's considered a crime in Sweden to pay somebody in monetary or in material benefits for gain to their body. And by doing that, you are under what is called a coupling law, where you are connecting these two parts together, which makes you a pimp. The coupling law, and by making a website, you are initially creating
eliciting sexual exploitation and
which makes it a
prostitution.
brothel. So that's why it's referred to in the article as a brothel. I just wanted to clarify that. So
Tim, let us know what you're feeling, man.
So the age of consent stuff is, I mean, it varies, like I said, by country and but in the United States by state, and there's a lot of gray area, and there's a lot of injustice in those laws when it comes to women being raped and the men claiming that they were in a consenting relationship and stuff like that. So there's a lot of injustice for women in some of those consent laws because they're written so vaguely, and it's, I mean, there's an entire television show about it, Law and Order SVU.
Yep.
Look at you coming in here with all your like relevant facts.
He's gonna boot you out of here in a minute.
I mean, when you talk about
a geezer comes in with expertise.
when you talk about age of consent and consent laws, and there's a lot of problems at American universities about this stuff, where it's all he said, she said, and the women unfortunately are not believed enough, and there's entire movements built around it.
Hashtag me too.
Exactly. So it is a very large problem. It is a societal problem.
I agree.
And and the age of consent is, I mean, it's not really about what age you are, it's whether or not you consent and whether or not you have the ability to consent.
You know what, Tim? That is a brilliant point, because how many people do legit consent and do not consent when it comes to that physical act? And regardless of age, it's all about consent. Everything needs to be consensual. You can't force yourself on anyone, regardless of. You could be 100 and she could be 19.
And it's about the ability. It's about having the ability to make consent,
inalienable rights, and your coherence during the act, so that you can actually consent or not consent.
Yeah, and the thing is, with when it comes to minor consent, it's default. It's default. If you are this age and younger, you cannot consent.
Why?
That's the
Why?
law.
Why?
That's the law in the UK.
Right, but why do you think that arbitrary line, as you so aptly put it, is drawn at that age? Why do you think that is?
Because that's the law of the land that I live in. But in the land where Zlatan lives, it may be different. In the land of Spain, it's different. In states, in America, it's different. So, at the end of the day, this person is considered an adult. This person is not. End of. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I get that you want to do like the quick, punchy answer, but you have to remember that we're on a podcast. The whole point of this is to argue. So I need you to stop it, and I need you to participate in the argument, please. There we go. Now he's in. I don't know if anybody told you, but we're going live right now.
Yeah, George Soros.
The only objection to this argument that I have is that we have somebody who's actually have reasonable arguments. So Tim, we need you to leave. With all your reasonable opinions, your facts,
facts and logic and reason.
Show it. Like what the fuck?
Okay, quick question. So, do you think that we should have like a global age of consent?
No,
it would be impossible. It would be impossible.
It would be impossible. But I think if we had a global age of consent, we would also have a global recognition of non-race. We would also have a global recognition of borders are a bit silly. And
I want to get rid of borders.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic whataboutism, Trump Jr.
Yeah.
Can you please answer the question though?
Just fucking.
Yeah, globalist.
Yeah, fucking globalist. Fucking commie globy.
For me, I would just be like, look.
What would you say? What here? I'll say it this. Maybe hold on. Maybe I asked the question poorly, and that would be on me. If you are king of the universe, what would you set the age of consent to be?
I would be quite happy with 16.
Tim?
Oh man, that's so. All right.
100 years. No.
So the issue here is culture. Different cultures have different definition of adult, but I would put it between like 16 and 17.
Chartan?
So 16 and a half.
I mean, it's hard to define that because different people develop at different times. Like, and like I said, it's cultural. Different cultures have different definitions of what an adult is. Like, adult isn't 18 for everyone.
We're using Captain Hindsight as an example.
We're on a podcast. Of course we are. What the Wayne, get with the program. We know everything after the fact.
I fucking know that. You don't need to highlight it, you fucking little cunt.
We are sitting on Mount Olympus, and we get to look down on the plebes and tell them what is true and what isn't.
It's plebs, Mikey.
Plebises.
No, plebiscite.
Plebs.
Also, no matter what you tell people the age of consent is, they're just gonna have sex. Like,
there you go.
Be reasonable again. What the fuck? Who are you? Here.
Who let the referee in here?
Listen,
coming in here with all your reasonable opinions and your facts and your figures. Your education will find you.
I'm just saying, people are going to do what they want to do. So if you're going to make it illegal at a certain age, then you're going to get a lot more criminals at a certain age. Like, that's what's going to happen.
So the age of consent should be, and my oldest daughter is 21. So one more year.
Oh, he's just gonna, and then next year I'll ask him, and he'll put it 23, and the next year I'll be like 24.
So it's always going to be +1.
Let's go safe and say like 30-ish.
If you touch her, me and
Stormbreaker. I got the little Groot arm on this one. It's super strong.
But here's the deal. I got my daughter when I was 16.
You got your daughter.
I had my
daughter. You make them.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, mate.
She was born when I was 16. She was made when I was 15, mate.
This is why I love your perspective on this.
So, and her mother was 16 at the time. So, based on, if we would draw a hard line in this, because the age of consent in Norway at this time, she would be.
We say that, Mikey.
Pedophile, right?
Right, and I don't think that's an accurate label for two people of the same age.
No. I'm saying, did you hear?
I literally just agreed with you, and then you're rebutting me.
Okay. No, I thought you
fucking hell, dude. Sorry. Listen, and you might hear an agreement from time to time.
You always yell at me, so
I'm switching it up. I'm agreeing with motherfuckers. Y'all don't know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, Mikey's here with a cuddle.
And that's why we need these grey areas that me and Mikey's been talking about, all right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So me and Mike, but these grey areas, we do need them, because if you're of similar age, but I do agree with Mikey at a point where even if you're 15, because when you're 15, 16, 17, you might think that somebody who's 25 or 30 is really, really fucking cool. And if this guy is, or a girl, is an absolute fucking...
Wayne, stop it.
What?
Fucking Wayne. Calm your shoulders down, number one.
Like Wayne.
Put your shoulders in neutral first off.
I'm in my offensively late 20s.
Did I get like super drunk all of a sudden, or do you go out of focus? No, you just went out of focus. So I believe that like it would be fucking hard to get a fucking law that would say that if there's a certain difference in age, that it would be illegal up until a certain age. Like how would you even write that law, like legally? How would you even do that? So I'm waiting on this one. I would say 16. Um,
So
as a stand.
Mike, you drop your show. According to your regulations, Zartan would be considered a sex offender.
but you haven't let me finish. So here's my thing. So I think
I didn't say that.
Why?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. So
You did.
well, because you only got half of what I said, so you assumed that I said that, but I didn't say that. So here's what I'm actually saying. I think 18 universal across the board for all countries should be the thing. But someone
America telling us what to do again.
didn't ask you, just telling you. You thought that this was a conversation. This was a command from above. Don't get them confused. Space Dawn Inc. says Romeo and Juliet laws, and that's what I'm talking about.
I would probably be dating her.
Oh, we're cross talking, Wayne. So Space Dawn Inc. says Romeo and Juliet laws, and that's kind of what I'm after here. So if people are teenagers and they're dating, and of course when teenagers date and they watch Netflix or study for the next test, they're gonna kiss, they're gonna make out, they're gonna do all the little kid shit that we all used to do when we were too young to be doing what we were supposed to be doing. That is
I was
one.
playing with Lego.
That is one subset of behavior, and I think that subset of behavior should be frowned upon, but it shouldn't be actively pursued.
Mikey,
Oh my God, Wayne! Can you do it? Can you be quiet? Can you do it? Let's see if you can do it.
It's infuriating. It's infuriating.
It's also infuriating for me to sit back and listen to you talk, and then I don't interrupt you. So give me 2 minutes. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. So there are the teenage kids who do what teenage kids do, and that's one thing. But at no point am I trying to give cover for active pedophiles to come into young high school kid age groups and do what they do, and then it's like, well, the age of consent is like no, it's different for you. You gotta wait till they're out of high school. You gotta wait till they're of the consenting age. If there's kids messing with kids, I don't want to prosecute them as adults. I want to prosecute them as kids and treat them separately and differently. You know what I'm saying? So if someone's 15 to 17, that's different than 15 to 35. And I think that they should be approached separately and differently. That's what I've been meaning to say, and that's what I mean. So 18 across the board is fine for me, but kids messing with kids, stop doing that, and we're going to give you a firm slap on the wrist for it. But if you're an adult, if you're over 18 and you're messing with 16 and 15-year-olds, there should be consequences for you. That's what I have to say.
I think that you should actually read what Kay just wrote in the chat, because it's important.
Illegally mandated half you age plus 7.
No. So my situation wouldn't necessarily be illegal or criminal.
Right.
There might be room for one or both sets of parents to try to press charges.
Right.
And sue, though. Right, and that's kind of what I'm saying, and that's kind of somewhat kind of how it works here in Illinois. Is if I'm 16 and my girlfriend's 17, and I knock her up, under a lot of families can go after me for statutory rape, and that's what happens a lot. I'm not saying it's mostly with biracial couples, but there are times where people go after the father of the kid for statutory rape because the girl is under 18. Yeah. Would be a criminal or a civil suit?
Criminal.
Okay. Yeah, just all right. We are about to go into after show mode. But Tim, last thoughts on our show? Anything else you want to add to anything before we leave?
And Tim, please stay for the after party if you got time. We'd love to have you because we're gonna we're gonna play some fucking COD and we're gonna fucking hang out and fucking get reckless with this shit.
So I did promise a story before we actually went into the show that I want to quickly do.
Muting my mic.
Story
it's
time.
Sad that, it's sad that Wayne's gone. He would have enjoyed it.
Tim has got the floor.
So, there's Wayne. Okay, so Wayne,
my laptop just shut down, so I've quickly jumped on my phone.
I'm going to tell the story of how Triple H's bus hit my car. So.
Oh, I fully forgot. Oh,
yeah.
Wayne and Tim are quick best mates because here's a wrestling story for all you fans. And make sure you check out Hot Tag, a part of the Bin Podcast Network. Soon to come.
Oh, see. Now I got to be on that podcast too. So last June for my birthday, my wife bought me tickets to go see a show. She begrudgingly went because one of my friends backed out. And we were going there, and we were getting ready to park in the big parking structure for the arena. And we passed Triple H's tour bus. Now, later we found out that it had Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and their kids in it. The bus tried to pass us on the left side, and there wasn't really a lane there to pass us. So the bus went around us and basically skid against our car the whole way down. And my wife, who was driving, was terrified because it sounded like the car was being crushed by the bus. But we had like a SUV, a Subaru Forester. And there were 4 cops who were directing traffic who saw all of this. One of them was one of my uncles who proceeded to like yell at the driver of the bus. After they hit us, they got pulled over and we got like directed to where all the police parked their cars. And we got checked out to see if we were okay. And we looked at the car, and basically what had happened is the bus had scraped down the entire side of the car and took off our driver's side mirror. And the bus driver got yelled at by the police. He got told to come back because he had to go drop off Stephanie McMahon and Triple H at the arena still. And I'm pretty sure he got an earful because when he came back, he was like the world's nicest person, where he was like, whatever you guys need, I'll do it. So like we exchanged information, we filed a police report and all that. And as we were doing that, he's like, so you guys got tickets to see the show, right? And my wife was like, yeah, but they're not good tickets. And so he's like, oh yeah, I can do that. He called up the arena and was like, listen, I need 2 tickets for these people. And he brought us to the will call, to the ticket station, gave us the tickets, and then directed us to where we were going to sit. We ended up sitting behind the broadcasting booth. It was an NXT show. It was TakeOver 25 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And if you go and watch it, before the very first match, you can see me wearing this shirt on camera, and my wife just looking upset about the whole thing. We got to.
I know, like, because the only reason that I know that Triple H is good people is my friend Dale Rutledge is a writer for the Wrestling Compadres, and he got me tickets to the launch of NXT UK.
Okay.
So I was at the Royal Albert Hall. I was there with all of the wrestling media.
Yeah.
She's like, me. I'm like, right. And go on.
Oh, the best part about this was we discovered the section we were sitting in was the section where they sit all of the wrestlers' families.
Yeah.
So we were sitting with all the wrestlers' families talking about like whenever their son or husband or daughter came out, they're like, "Oh yeah." So we learned the real names of all the wrestlers.
Yeah.
And the best part was there was a promo after the second match where the guys who were sitting to the left of us got up and walked away, and we we're like, "Where are they going?" They probably went to go get like concessions or something. Then Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg sat next to us, and a camera was set up right in front of us where they were doing a promo. So like, I was like freaking out because Shawn Michaels is one of my heroes.
You're like there in the background, right?
Yeah, and my wife was like, "Who's that?" And I'm
He's
like,
just a sexy boy. He's not your boy toy.
All right. Is the golfing story over yet? Because
Shut up.
And then my wife, who was sitting next to Shawn Michaels, actually got kissed by Shawn Michaels on the head. She didn't know about it until she watched it back later. She just thought that he had his arm around her and they were just having a good time.
Tim, let me stop you there.
Did you fight him?
That effectively makes you a cuck.
Did you sweet chin music that bastard for kissing your lady? Don't you let him do that shit to your lady?
He ran off before I could do it. He ran off. He ran off.
Yeah, he ran off because he was scared. He was a coward.
At least you posted
See him
on
in the ring,
Instagram
Shawn Michaels.
afterwards, right?
Huh?
Right, I'm gonna
At
switch
least
back
you
to that.
posted on Instagram #MeToo afterwards, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, okay, good.
But yeah,
All
that's my
right.
wrestling story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was a really good golfing story. We all love sport ball. It's all
Sport
good.
Oh, come on. We talked about cars for fucking half an hour.
Yeah, I'm still not interested in whole sport. David
Ball
Beckham.
wrestling or fucking-
Whenever that wrestling podcast start, let me know.
I'm getting them all trained so that they can run. I can assimilate them into the Borg so that then they can go out and assimilate other people. But we're getting
Yeah,
there.
and then we have to teach Wayne how you plug your computer into an outlet so the charger actually works.
Yeah, so that it doesn't die mid fucking stream. Fucking Muppet.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been great fucking fun. Yeah, he found an outlet. So we just thought you didn't pay your electric bill, mate. But it's fine.
No, I've literally. I wish I could turn around and show you what I've done. Right, so basically,
I love it. I love it. Oh my god, I'm muting you because you're making a lot of noise right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute you while you get that set up, and then unmute yourself. All right, so let's do this. I will close this out, Jartan, and we will do this. If you guys would like to come into the after party, it's gonna be very chill. It may or may not go live. I'm not sure yet. But if you want to come in, hang out with Tim, if you guys would like any more questions for him, if you want to talk to Jartan, Wayne, or myself, hit me up on Twitter. Hit the podcast up on Twitter at Ben Podcast, at We the Deviants, at Jartan Rayan, at Wayne Lynch. Hit us up on Twitter. We'll send you a link in the DMs, and you can come hang out with us. And we may or may not go live. It depends on
if you want to hear swear words that you've never heard before, come on over.
But it'll be fun. And actually, I need to say this. A couple of housekeeping notes. Starting January 1, we will no longer be streaming live on Facebook. We've decided that as a podcast because Facebook does a very good job at taking our money, but they do a worse job at promoting our fucking show. So we've promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. And unless we hold on, and unless we give them money, they bury our fucking show underneath everybody else who paid, and that's bullshit. So we don't like that. We feel like we get a much more native, a much more awesome audience and response back and forth from people through YouTube and Twitch. So that's going to be our main go-tos. Periscope here and there we get some people's, but that's going to be our thing. We're going to be YouTube and Twitch with some Periscope sprinkled in on top. Sorry, Facebook, if you want to actually start fucking paying us after we fucking paid you, we can reconsider our negotiation.
I'm dealing with that.
You're dealing with what?
Facebook. Every time I log on to my fucking Facebook,
oh yeah,
it says promote your page, promote your page, promote your page.
Yeah.
Unless I fucking get a wheelbarrow full of fucking cash, bury it into your fucking anal canal, you ain't doing shit.
No.
So fuck you.
They legitimately stifle us unless we pay for them.
Yeah, fuck them.
And
yeah, that's bullshit.
Like it's not like as much as
stats. You also have to go through like how they present their stats, which is just fucking bullshit.
Yeah, like a view is 3 seconds. Like that's not accurate information.
Oh, you've reached one more person today. Well, fuck off. How about I reach 100 people? Oh no, you don't want to do that. We're here all the time. All of our Facebooks are fucking active, and all of our stuff is promoting our page. but you don't want to fucking promote it. Fuck you, Zuckerberg, you cunt.
So, if you really want to help us, of course, patreon.com/thebigpodcast. We really appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate
Sorry about that.
And honestly, that has been one of the more sobering and humbling parts of like doing the show with the boys and Brenna is like, yo, we actually have support now. Yeah. All right. Time to get fucking serious. Let's fucking get our fucking shit together and let's make this. Let's actually make this a show then, because now people are not just liking the video and like dropping comments. They're actually giving us money per month to do a certain thing, and that puts the pressure on us to, you know what? Yes, it's time. Now we have to do a fucking professional show, and hopefully next week we will not be using StreamYard. Sorry, StreamYard, I'm going to cancel your shit, but that fucking shit has to resubscribe. We're going to be running off of vMix, which is like professional fucking streaming software. It's going to be fucking amazing. Good shit. Primo audio. Best clarity in video. It's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait for it. And thank you for the people who have been part of the movement so far to help us finance us getting to the vMix stage, because it's still a bit of an investment on our part, but it is
it absolutely is. But if you're not in a position to do that, can you please just go in, like and share. We love you to share on all your social platforms. Just give us a shout out, and if you like what we do, and you're not in a position to do that, like, yeah, well, say that you're working for a big mining company and you make a shit ton of money. Well, give us a bit of that money. If you're working for Big Pharma and you're making a shit ton, give us some of that money. But if you're not doing that, especially if you're head of intellectual property for a big pharma company in Switzerland, you need to give us money.
All of it.
But if you can't do that, share, like, subscribe. We appreciate you. Thank you for being with us. This has been the Bid Podcast. From Mikey, from Wayne, and of course Tim. Thank you for hanging with us.
I've still got an appeal.
Oh God, go ahead, Wayne, and then you're gonna sign us out because you interrupted the sign out.
That's fine. Listen, I've got 1,400 people on my Facebook right now. All right. Now you don't have to like me. You probably don't.
I don't.
And I work with these fuckers.
Most of them haven't seen you because you're short as shit.
They look right over the top of his head.
Let me bring my mic down. There we go.
Oh, there he is. Get intimate.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my jockey mic down here. So, if you would be really kind and just share, like, subscribe, make a comment, anything that you could do on our little Tin Pot podcast that we've got going on, that'd be massively Shut up, Mikey. That'd be massively appreciated by us. Because the thing is, we do this week in and week out, and we do it because we love to talk about the news. We love to talk about what's going on in the world. We love to enlighten people.
We love to make fun of each other.
Yeah, we love to call 6'3" people short.
Never happened once.
Really? All right. But yeah, just delete me afterwards. Just like and share, and then delete me afterwards. I don't really care. Just get us out of there, because we're trying our best. It's a bit begging bowl, but fuck it.
Give us a sign out. I got the music playing.
Yeah.
Sign us out, Wayne. Do it.
Like and share all of the Bin Podcast material. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Woo!
Good
Peace
night.
out, Girl Scouts.
And of course, me, the Viking Short Arm. This has been the Bin Podcast. Thank you for watching.